a game at Villa Park is in store. Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest with Michael Brown and Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Mark. We are very much looking forward to this one. The scene is set. The players are out and ready. The blue skies overhead. It is breezy, but it is sunny in Birmingham. And we have two of the upwardly mobile teams of the Premier League this season. Forest, who've won their last couple of Premier League games in a row. Now Nuno Espirito Santo's team going in search of a third league victory in succession. And that's something that they've not achieved since September. As the players take a knee ahead of kick-off. A reminder, no room for racism. And Forest wearing all sky blue get us started. Ryan Yates plays it from the halfway line all the way back to the goalkeeper, Matt Sells. He's wearing bright yellow, launches it long into the Aston Villa half, ball swirling around in the very strong wind. And then Anderson gets the ball down on the deck and shuffles it to Nico Dominguez on the right-hand side. The team news has been much talked about in the build-up here. 8 changes for Villa, who've got a Champions League quarter-final to come in midweek. 3 changes for Forest from their win over Manchester United. Still no Chris Wood. Today, no Taiwo Awoniyi. So that means no recognised central striker in the team for Nuno Espirito Santo. At the moment, Morgan Gibbs-White is sitting in the most advanced position. But it'll be interesting to see if Alanga and Hudson-Odoi take over that role at various stages during the day. Michael Brown is alongside me. Game underway, and this is one we've been looking forward to.
Yeah, very much so. I love coming to this stadium now. It's rocking, there's a belief around it. This is an opportunity there, but we get to look at teams and changes. We talk about so many changes that Aston Villa have had, and we understand why they've done that. Still a strong outfit. We know that that's certain with the squad that they now have, but it's obviously Forest yet again looking to change because of that striker option and the back 3 that they've gone with. Williams stays the left wing back and Dominguez as the right sider. Just at the top of the pitch, it allows Gibbs-White just to get on the back of Alanga, Hudson-Odoi up on that left-hand area. But as Villa come forward, play, we'll have a look how that develops in and out of possession. Yeah,
it does look like a back 3 for Nottingham Forest, to often start games with 4 at the back. They will regularly revert to 3 central defenders, particularly if they're winning and they want to hold on to a lead. So we'll watch how this develops this afternoon here at Villa Park with Nuno Espirito Santo, beginning with the 3 central defenders, Morato, Murillo and Nikola Milenkovic. As Villa come forward, their first proper attack of the day. Asensio in the sunshine gives the ball to Morgan Rogers. Back into the heart of the defence, Axel Disasi, who started alongside Tyrone Mings as 2 central defenders. Andres Garcia will be the right back today. Ian Maatsen on the left-hand side. It's Maatsen's first Premier League appearance since February. Villa play it low into the penalty area, and Murillo is happy to just shepherd the ball out, knowing it is going for a Nottingham Forest goal kick away to our left-hand side. So Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 0. The Premier League on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Forest on the brink of a European campaign and all the excitement that comes with it, and they need to look no further than today's opponents to see how being in the Champions League can propel a club and really get everyone carried away. I mean, what a super season on the continent that Villa have enjoyed, and Forest are just itching to get involved in that themselves, and it seems almost certain they will do, Michael.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Because we look so many times that sort of write Forest off, that they're not going to be able to sustain it, stick at it. I think what's been really good is their discipline. Out of possession, they'll say it's okay, we'll let you have it, and
good
then
work
they
from
counter quick.
Dominguez to win the ball away from Rogers. Rogers has got a backpedal here and he's done well. Good speed and strength to get back and have a nibble at Dominguez the second time, and Morgan Rogers gives it back to Yuri Tillemans, and Aston Villa survived that particular counter-attack. Counter-attacking, which is, of course, the most dangerous attribute of this Forest team. Here comes Mallon, who started on the right-hand side of the attack for Villa, taking on Nico Williams. Sends in a low cross, deflects off Williams' shins and falls calmly into the arms of the goalkeeper, Matt Sells. Sells, who's making his 50th appearance for Nottingham Forest today. What a signing that's proved to be. I mean, just over a year ago, Matt Sells joined Forest, and he's become instantly one of the best Premier League goalkeepers.
Yeah, he has done very well, assured, confident. Say, with that defensive line in front of him being so impressive. The right back Olaine has been the special one, who's also missing. We need a special mention. I think he's had a fantastic season.
Yes, Olaine, who went off injured against Manchester United on Tuesday and is not involved today, not even on the bench. Virtually impossible for the Premier League not to get that extra spot for Champions League qualification now. So it'll be the top 5, and that, as things stand, open the door for pretty much any team in the top half of the table can still technically get into that Champions League. Aston Villa realising, though, that they've got City and Newcastle better placed than them, as Watkins gives away possession. It was cut out by Nico Williams as he tried to give it to Malin, and Forrest clear it out for a throw into Aston Villa in the sunshine on the far side. Part of the problem for Villa getting back in the Champions League is that they've got a very tricky run in. Starting today, 5 of Villa's remaining 8 Premier League fixtures against the teams in around them in the table. They're all against teams in the top half, who are all in contention for a European place. Maatsen on the left-hand side, furthest forward he's been today. Challenged by Dominguez, who claims the last touch went off Maatsen, but the referee disagrees. And it's a throw into Aston Villa, attacking position down the left-hand side. Simon Hooper is the referee. 6 seasons ago, he was in charge of an absolute humdinger of a game between these two. It was in the Championship. It was here at Villa Park. It finished 5-5. Maatsen shoots, saved by Sells. Not sure it was going in anyway, but Sells had to be sure as Forrest looked to spring a counter-attack. That's a foul on Morgan Gibbs-White by Yuri Tielemans, and that's a free kick to Nottingham Forest midway inside their own half. But Ian Maatsen has produced the first shot in anger of the afternoon, and Matt Sells has saved it. Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 0.
Do you know what? Maatsen gives and goes. It's a wonderful little touch just inside Asensio, and then he takes it forward. I think hits it hard and low. It was almost underneath him, so he couldn't generate any power. Comfortable save, and he didn't spill it. But then Tielemans on the breakaway gives White, Alanga, etc. want to go so quickly. I think as a midfielder now, people are going to start to take that foul against them early because they know what they can do.
Earlier on today, Nick Rockett won the Grand National. 1-2-3 for Willie Mullins. He's here at Villa Park. Aston Villa have possession. Tyrone Mings inside his own half, head up, scanning the horizon, looking for options. Rolls it to Andres Garcia on the right-hand side. Garcia, who joined from Levante in January. This is his first Premier League appearance since February. I think testament to the strength of the Aston Villa squad is that they've made the 8 changes today, Michael, but it still looks a strong team.
It is a strong team, and when all those signers get coming, I was thinking, this is it. They mean business. They've done it several times, but that was a real sort of, right, we're going to back it all the way, because they'd had a little bit of inconsistency. They weren't sure that, you know, what type of performance was coming their way, and it's understandable, isn't it, when you've got big Champions League games, getting up for those, carrying the whole season. You've got a manager who can do that and understand the loadings we know in European competitions, but these players all weren't ready for it.
Villa, who've got Watkins as the spearhead, cross from Garcia, touched on by Asensio, and it glances wide of the target. Great delivery in, really good run by Asensio. He did get a touch to that. Had it been slightly firmer, he could have guided it into the bottom corner, but it glanced through him and out for a goal kick. But that's a scare for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, it's a great ball in that area, 6-yard box. He's so clever, isn't he? Asensio just realising where the space is. And maybe because he doesn't touch it, because he's so relaxed, composed, it's a good thing. But if he's a bit more aggressive there, he might have actually got a better touch on it. But the wind isn't great. It's a bit tricky coming down onto that Forest back line, so you've got to put it and turn him round as the goalkeeper falls over, Connor.
Which always brings a cheer from the home fans when the away goalkeeper does that. Anderson hooks the ball on in midfield, looking for Elanga. Brave header by Tyrone Mings, regains possession for Aston Villa away to our right-hand side. 0-0 here. Draws earlier on today in the game between Everton and Arsenal at Goodison, and also in the West Ham against Bournemouth match. That one was 2-2. Wins today for Crystal Palace, who beat Brighton. 3 red cards in that game. First time in 12 years that any Premier League match has had 3 red cards in it. And Ipswich beaten at home by Wolves. Ipswich 1, Wolves 2. Another nail in the coffin in terms of the relegation battle here at Villa Park. 0-0 between Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, and Yuri Tielemans gets possession. Unai Emery right out on the edge of the technical area, bellowing the instructions, then claps his hands together as the team do what he wants them to do. Axel Disasi, who's been a successful loan signing from Chelsea, he's now made, by the way, starting today, Disasi, it means he's had more league starts for Villa than he had all season for Chelsea. Tielemans shoots him a long way out, and it was always veering wide of the target. Sells dive just to be sure, but he was well outside the penalty area, the Belgian, and Yuri Tielemans puts it wide.
Yeah, as you're on about Disasi, good forward pass. Tielemans just knows where the space is, steps into it, out of his feet. He goes to hit it with power. When we get another look, well wide, but certainly worth it. The crowd liked it.
Yeah, the crowd have liked a lot here this season. Aston Villa unbeaten in their last 16 home games. It's their best run here at Villa Park in 35 years. And the home fans just want it to continue. They don't want to miss a thing in this remarkable end to the season where Villa are fighting across several fronts. And, you know, there'll be twists and turns along the way, but there could be a lot of glory for Aston Villa. Here comes Andres Garcia, pushes it in front of Malin. Murillo, who's deceptively quick, eats up the ground, gets there ahead of Malin, and then I think he tried to play it off. That's incredible defending. He's backheeled it off Malin to ensure it goes for a goal kick. How cool is that, Michael Brown?
I tell you what he's done. He's gone, there's no way you're going to out-muscle me in this contest. I'm going to just let it go right towards the byline, having that confidence, having that belief. I'm just watching Nuno there down just to the right-hand side of us. It's just sort of, when you're under pressure, he's not fazed because he knows and he trusts what he's got. He just sets them up in the right way. They don't lose any composure when they're put under that sort of pressure. They just sit, wait. That's hard to do, you know, for long periods, but then they know what to do when they get it.
Murillo, who made his international debut for Brazil during the window, he is one to watch, still just 22 years of age, and he's establishing himself as one of the best central defenders in the world. I mean, the speed, the way he caught up at Malin there, and then so cool to do the flick to get the goal kick.
You know, looking at him now,
he's broad, isn't he?
Yeah, broad, yeah. A little bit broader than me,
But you see beside Milenkovic, who's taller than him. It's not that he's a giant, but you would not win a shoulder battle against Murillo 50-50.
Well, we would have.
This is Tyrone Mings inside the centre circle for Villa. No high press from Forest, no Awoniyi, no Chris Wood today, no central attacker. Here comes Garcia down the right-hand side. Hudson-Odoi back to keep an eye on him. No one marking Disasi here, 12 yards outside the penalty area. Central position. Takes a little laboured touch though, takes a bit too long. Eventually Matson will play it down to Morgan Rogers on the left-hand side. Nutmeg on Morata. Oh, he done really well, Rogers. Trying to break into the penalty area. Dominguez brings it to a halt. And this is what Forest are good at, breaking quickly when they win the ball inside their own penalty area. Anderson gets away from Onana. Tried to release Ilanga. Had a very important interception, I think, from Disasi. Otherwise, Forest would have been on their bike there.
Yeah, really, really quick. Gibbs-White clever. And Elliot Anderson gets into space. He tries to feed it into Ilanga. And possibly the easier option was to the right-hand side to Morgan Gibbs-White. But if it's me, I'm in the middle, I take that risk and make the pass because I understand if I can put it into the space, he's going to get behind.
Here's Rogers, looked like he was offside. Low shot through the legs of the goalkeeper. The flag stays down. It looks like this one's going to count. Aston Villa have done what Nottingham Forest have been doing to other teams all season. They've caught Forest on the break here. It was direct, it was incisive, it was very well controlled by Rogers. And what about the finish? Through the legs of Matt Sells. And it is 1-0 to Aston Villa at home against Forest with less than 13 minutes played.
Well, you change your shape, you're not always sure where the space is, the direction, but it was really quick. You talk about no pressure on the ball and said, okay, we're all set, but the run was really, really good in the back of the centre-back, and his touch with the outside of his right foot first was really clean. It sat comfortable for him, but Tielemans, he's got that magic thing in his boots. And then the finish, he just sets it, waits, and directs it hard and low underneath the goalkeeper, just as he tries to get set through his legs. It's a really, really good finish.
Morgan Rogers, who had only scored once in his last 12 games for club and country, puts Aston Villa in front with an expertly taken goal. And you think of their Champions League games to come, FA Cup semi-final, the choice of attacking options for Unai Emery, the way Rodgers dispatched that, but he's also got Rashford, he's also got Watkins, he's also got Asensio. I mean, that's a proper attack. That is options for any manager.
You just look at it though, do you know, you change it when you talk about back three, back four, missing Oleana with that little ball in behind, and it was in the back of Morata, wasn't it?
Yes, Morata was very much caught cold. But such a well-taken goal for Aston Villa. Villa 1, Nottingham Forest 0 on 5 Live. In this tea-time game in the Premier League, the wind is bellowing the flags up on top of the stand Far side of Villa Park from us. Tielemans rolls it forward. Watkins, what a touch that was. Rodgers goes down edge of the penalty area. Referee Simon Hooper was right by that, and he says no free kick. Villa regain possession immediately anyway, and Yuri Tielemans has it midway inside Nottingham Forest territory. Forest under a lot of pressure in the early stages here. Matson has turned Yates inside out. What a ball in! Mallon makes it two! 2 goals in just over 2 minutes, and Aston Villa are off to the races on Grand National Day. That's another well-worked goal. Ian Matson turned Ryan Yates inside out, and he laid it on a plate for Daniel Mallon, who got his first Villa goal on Wednesday against Brighton, and now he's got 2 goals in 2 games. Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0. We've only played 15 minutes.
Ah, it's amazing. Tielemans again, you've got to get close, you've got to jump on top, but it's a clever run. Matson steps inside and you just can't see where he is, drives outside, and then the ball is so good, right across the 6-yard area. Pace, accuracy, opposite man coming in, waiting for the space, waiting for that ball, just sneaks in shoulders. It doesn't get any easier as he jumps, he sort of hurdles as he has to wait for the bounce as he puts it into the back of the net. The manager darts down that technical area. Fantastic goal for Villa.
Well, Nottingham Forest are in disarray here. Such an organised defence, arguably the most organised defence in the Premier League this season. They're all over the place here. Mallon tries to come forward again, good work from Elliot Anderson in the midfield. But Nottingham Forest, 13 Premier League clean sheets, and they kept another one today, would have set a new club record. They've conceded twice already here. It's an enormous task for Nuno Espirito Santo's team to get back into this now. They come on the attack. Ryan Yates thumps one in from distance, and it deflects off the heel of Tyrone Mings and goes out for a corner to Nottingham Forest. Forest, who trail 2-0, the goals from Morgan Rogers and Daniel Mallon.
Yeah, Yates gets a chance, but he's miles away from goal. He just thinks, you know what, it's a really bad start, I'm just going to strike it. Deflects wide. You don't blame him, do you, to try and get some sort of momentum switch in it, but now a set piece, a corner. Can they do something to dig themselves out of this problem?
Corner to be taken by Anthony Elanga. Left-hand side of the pitch as Forest come forward. Rolls it short to Hudson-Odoi. That's only his 3rd touch in the game, Hudson-Odoi. He's been peripheral so far. Dominguez shoots in, but well wide of the target. At least 5 yards wide of the post as Forest try to get a foothold back in the game. Villa 2, Forest 0.
Yeah, you just look at that setup, didn't we? Talk about a back 3, back 5 that they changed. Dominguez going up into that right wing-back area, but what they've tried to do, Ryan Yates has tried to go really, really tight with Morgan Rogers, and that's the uncertainty between right side of centre midfield player to right wing-back, then the space in behind the right side of a 3 centre-back. The space is too big, they don't know the distances, they don't know the timing. Matson was very, very clever as he drove inside then out.
There were just 138 seconds between the 2 Aston Villa goals, between Rodgers making it 1-0 and Mallon making it 2. And Aston Villa, remember, 8 changes. This is kind of their B team. And they're 2-0 up against one of the best in the Premier League. Matson controls left-hand side. Good ball into the penalty area. Tielemans has been shadowed by Gibbs-White, but he's done so well to twist, turn, playing across, no to the back post. And Nico Williams will take it away.
I can't believe you've B-teamed them. When you look at some of the players they've got, I mean, there'll be a few words said about that. That's
point
just
I'm making. 8 changes is a lot. That's not just a minor tweak. He is resting a lot of his better players here, or what he thinks are his better players.
Is there more than 3 starters here, though?
I know, of course there are. But look, you take my point. He is thinking Paris Saint-Germain in midweek. I want Rashford to be fresh for that. He's thinking Pau Torres has just come back. He's thinking John McGinn.
Starts, yeah.
These guys all start. I think Kamara could well start. But he has put out a team that are hungry to impress because they know big battles to come and they want to be involved in them. Villa have been imperious so far. I mean, Forest have started poorly, make no mistake, but Villa have been excellent. Here they go again. Rodgers into the penalty area, tries to give it back to Mallon, and Murillo is able to get a header out of the penalty area, but Forest don't hold on to it, and they are out of sorts today. Nuno Espirito Santo's team. It's been a brilliant season for Forest, but they don't look themselves. This is Disasi, turns and rolls it back to Tyrone Mings.
I think the key is, though, it's just concentration levels. That one change in that area is where both the goals have come from. That's what's cost them. You could say out of sorts, but generally they would stay and wait anyway, but don't normally concede like they are now.
Well, we know that Forest had many decades out of the Premier League, but today only the third time that Nottingham Forest in the Premier League era have ever conceded 2 goals in the opening 15 minutes of a match. As Nico Williams gets it back for Forest to the far side, pulls off a Cruyff turn to try and shrug off Andres Garcia. Morgan Gibbs-White will get it in the midfield, and he'll roll it low to the feet of Dominguez with those socks low down on his calves on the right-hand side. Number 16 on his back, gives it short to Hudson-Odoi. Back to Dominguez, heavy touch, will relinquish possession. Villa get it back again, and Maxson rolls it back to Emi Martinez. Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Match of the day, by the way, coming up tonight, BBC One at 10:20. We've got lots more live Premier League football tomorrow here on 5 Live, all building up to the Manchester Derby, which is the headline at 4:30. Manchester United hosting City at Old Trafford. You can listen to correspondent John Murray with the commentary of that one here tomorrow. Martinez rolls it short to Disasi. Villa brave enough to try and play through the Forest press here. Onana, who's had injury problems over the last few months, but working his way back into regular contention on as a sub in each of the last 2 games in all competitions. He hasn't started though in the Premier League since January before today, Amadou Onana. As Nico Williams makes it intercepted here, but Asensio is in to pick his pocket, and Williams is out of the game, and Asensio tries to cross, and it's blocked by the upper body of Murillo, and some of the Villa fans were shouting for handball. I don't think it was. Play on for the moment. Mallon just outside the penalty area on the right hand side. Villa leading Nottingham Forest by 2-0 here. 21 minutes on the clock. Matson controls it on the D, but Dominguez tackles him and plays a decent ball to Elanga, who's got pace to burn as he streaks away and scorches away from Garcia, almost into the penalty area. What a run from Elanga, and the shot in the end goes wide. He picked that up inside his own half and he ran it almost to the 6-yard box, and they flashed the shot in front of the goalkeeper and wide.
Yeah, brilliant counter, Elanga. Stepping forward, Garcia had an opportunity to come inside, he doesn't, and then he realises miles away because he just darts so quickly inside there now. It's that left-footed shot. I mean, Martinez desperately diving right across the face as it just goes wide. Disappointment on his face. We've seen him do it in the week, and once you do that, he fancies his chances every time he gets that space.
Well, that's the sort of lightning-fast counter-attack that Forest have been producing throughout this campaign. If they are to get back into this, that's the route, but so far Aston Villa hardly putting a foot wrong today. Villa playing it out short from the back. Disasi rolls it back to the feet of Emi Martinez, who's kept clean sheets in each of his last 3 games in all competitions. He's yet to keep 4 clean sheets in a row. He's just rolling the ball under his studs. Edge of the D. There's no pressure, there's no centre forward, and there is no obligation for Villa to go any quicker here. And Forest are going to have to, send someone in to hound the goalkeeper, because otherwise Villa with the 2-goal lead are just going to take their time.
Yeah, you just watch Emery realises that they've got him man for man. Here you go.
Rodgers is lost in the midfield. Here's Hudson-Odoi, just outside the penalty area, trying to get the angle for the shot, pulls it across the face of goal and wide. Well, that was almost a mirror image of the Elanga chance a few moments ago. Elanga and Hudson-Odoi both failing to hit the target, but this is better from Forest, and for the first time Villa have made a couple of mistakes.
Yeah, the mistakes in the middle of the pitch. It's actually Morgan Rodgers. It's spread out really well, they've got good possession, but he just tries that pass, gets caught out, manager's going crazy. Hudson-Odoi on the counter. It's a really, really good finish. He waits, he delays, uses the defender, just tries to push it in the corner just wide, and the manager is not happy here, Emery. The standards and the demands from him, incredible.
Better touch there from Morgan Rodgers to pick out Asensio. Villa have it on the halfway line with Amadou Onana. And that'll be controlled on the instep of Matson. Matson rolls it back to Tyrone Mings. Villa, who were impressive in that 3-0 win at Brighton on Wednesday, and it keeps them in the hunt for a top 4 finish, which would be talked up even more should they hold on for the 3 points here against third place Nottingham Forest. Onana midway inside Forest territory, centre of the pitch, gives it back behind to Tyrone Mings. To the near touchline here to Ian Matson. Matson, who scored against Bruges in the Champions League before the international break. He then scored for the Netherlands in the Nations League against Spain. That was a couple of weeks ago. And Tyrone Mings here rolls it back to Emi Martinez once again.
The distances are wrong here, so Villa have got the ball and they're comfortable. Forest has sat in, but the second they then try and press, the midfield is where they've got the problem. The front three take the 5 back, and then the midfielders can't get anywhere near because they're coming off the shoulders.
Good long clearance there from Emi Martinez, picking out Daniel Malin, whose feet gave away underneath him as he controlled it. 2-0 Villa lead. Forest coming now though with Elanga just outside the penalty area. Left hand side as Forest come forward in their sky blue outfit today. Sky blue shirts and shorts, and they got white socks. Murillo has come forward here midway into Villa territory, gives it out to Nico Williams on the left wing. No Chris Wood, who's the obvious focal point and target for these wide Forest players all season. So a little burst to the byline from Elanga does produce a cross. Gibbs White does his best, he jumps, but he's not as tall or dominant in the air as Chris Wood, and he can't get it. And Aston Villa got to clear away here on the left hand side. Strong challenge comes in from Elliot Anderson to foul Morgan Rogers, and that's a free kick to Aston Villa inside their own half. Villa still leading Nottingham Forest here by 2-0 on 5 Live.
See, it's a difficult one there for the midfielder, Elliot Anderson. He goes to go tight, wants to sort of commit, wants to make a challenge, and then Rodgers just sees it coming, dives down, and then the ball's all delayed.
So 2-0 and a very good start to the day. 2 early goals for Aston Villa here. Earlier on in the Premier League today, Everton 1, Arsenal 1. Crystal Palace beat Brighton by 2-1. Brighton just going through a little wobble at the moment. Disappointed to go out of the FA Cup, heavily beaten by Villa in midweek and now beaten again at Selhurst Park. Ipswich 1, Wolves 2. Ipswich hoping that could become a 6-point swing in their favour today, but goals from Sarabia and Strand Larsen have turned around what was a 1-0 lead for Ipswich at Portman Road for Wolves to win that game 2-1. And it was also a draw in the game between West Ham and Bournemouth. That one finished 2-2. Tyrone Mings has possession for Villa here, up to the halfway line, gives it short to Maatsen. Villa playing from right to left as we look down. Dominguez slides in on him and wins the ball fairly. Ball runs loose though, and Forest don't hold on to it. Asensio was able to pick up possession, and he'll roll it to Andres Garcia on the right hand side. Tries a step over, takes on Nico Williams in a sprint to the byline. Ball goes out of play. That's going to be a goal kick to Nottingham Forest. Away to our left hand side. Forest still 2-0 down here with a quarter of the game played.
Yeah, Garcia goes to go down the right hand side. It was almost like the biggest step over you've ever seen. It's like, I'm now going to do a step over. The big left foot's going to go all the way around here. Then I'm going to push it with the right down towards that byline. The wind's swirling right down into that corner. Runs away. Nico Williams, good recovery. But from there on now, Forest with the ball. What's the next pass as they step through from defensive positions? Nice play. This is better.
Yates to Dominguez on the near touchline. He's got Elanga ahead of him. Good ball from Dominguez if Elanga's onside, but he's not. As the assistant Adrian Holmes on the near touchline raises his flag, and it's been a frustrating evening so far with 27 minutes played for Nottingham Forest here at Villa Park. Here comes Andres Garcia down the right hand side. This is only his 6th Premier League appearance for his new team. Gives it into Amadou Onana, back to Disasi. Exciting times ahead for Villa. FA Cup semi-final against Palace to come. Champions League quarter-final on Wednesday. 2-0 up here already today against Forest. Malin crosses from the right-hand side, headed out by Milenkovic. As Forest tried to turn defence into attack, which they normally do with ease. This is Hudson-Odoi. Has to spin away from Malin. He did well, actually, to spin away, but now he attempts a very ambitious crossfield ball, which doesn't pick out Morgan Gibbs-White. Good recovery by Ian Maatsen, sprinting back to calmly touch it back to the keeper, and he gets a warm applause from the Villa fans around Villa Park for that.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi with that big sort of swirling pass right out to the right. Maatsen, good position. Gibbs-White on his shoulder. Now that build-up, just waits. Plays it back from Mings into Martinez, and it's just about wait and delay. They're in no rush now. I think Forest have to adapt a little bit different now with the scoreline where it is. You almost got to go. We've got to change now. I'll step in midfield further on. The responsibility goes with one of the centre backs to go and be tight on Rodgers. They brought Yates back to do that, and they're just nowhere near at the top of the pitch, getting close enough. There's too many options for Villa.
A long way to go, and history tells us that in the Premier League these days there are a lot of late comebacks. But what's interesting, Nottingham Forest in their Premier League history, they have never come back from 2 goals or more down in a Premier League game, not even to get a draw. As Martinez, right-footed, straight down the middle. Jumping was Morata, wins the header, accurate too, to Dominguez in the right wing-back position. He tries to clear it away, but not picking the passes today, Forest. And groans from the visiting fans as Dominguez gives it straight to Ian Maatsen there. Maatsen who's having a good game. Asensio, no room inside the centre circle, prods it backwards to Disasi. He's got time and space alongside Mings at the back.
Asensio wants to chill out, doesn't he, as the ball comes over to him, as he just pulls it over his head, pulls it down, never so relaxed, just drifts back in, makes space and gets on the ball just like this man. Tillemans
to Rodgers down below us. Matson plays it off to Mings out for an Aston Villa throw. Marco Asensio, who will be able to play against Paris Saint-Germain, even though he's on loan from them, he can play in the Champions League quarter-final. What a signing he's been. 8 goals in his last 7 games in all competitions for Asensio. Villa are bossing the midfield here as they win it back again.
Yeah, Matson absolutely on flames, just moving it around, and just that one pass. We've said to you many good things about Tillemans, as he just makes his first loose pass. The first couple have been sensational in the game. The difference from the midfield player, but Forest are still battling, they're still here. You know they'll never give up. This side have been really, really good when written off.
That's a good ball over the top. Ifalanga's onside, controls it into the penalty area. Disasi comes back and challenges him. There's roars from the away fans that it could be a penalty. Elanga raises his arm in the air, but the referee, Simon Hooper, immediately turned away and ran from those complaints. And he says no penalty play on. The video assistant referee will look at it today. Michael Oliver is watching the replays in the VAR booth. But for the moment, the referee's call on the pitch is no penalty and play on. 2-0 Aston Villa lead here. They're on the attack on the right-hand side. No way through, though, for Garcia as the ball goes out of play, and that'll be a Villa throw.
This will be the look now, isn't it? If anybody can find something, the lead referee, Michael Oliver, I would imagine. But if we look at it, there was a coming together, wasn't there? The legs just got tangled slightly as Elanga went through, so you never say never.
Nuno Espirito Santo, whose beaming smile has been one of the images of this campaign. He's not smiling at the moment, I'll tell you. He is stern-faced down there. He is chewing gum. He's got his arms folded across his chest. He's not enjoying what he's seeing from his Nottingham Forest team. Brilliant season for Forest, not playing well today. But they still have an hour to go here at Villa Park, so you never know. Matson turns, rolls it back to Tyrone Mings. Mings taking his time. No high press again from Forest today. Nothing urgent anyway. Garcia right back. Plays it all the way back to Emi Martinez. And Villa can afford to be quite conservative now. That's what a 2-goal lead does to you. You know, Unai Emery's team, they know they have a big week to come. They don't need to hound and chase anything here now.
Well, that's the problem, because Forest want you to come onto them. That's where they're really good in the counter when the space is there. And Villa have said, OK, we've got the 2 goals. We'll wait. No, it's just they haven't just got their distances right here. Good run from Watkins, you haven't seen him. Watkins
up against Milenkovic, who does a bodyguard job on him, makes sure that Watkins was not going to be able to run after that cleanly. And the ball bounces through to the Belgian keeper, Matt Sells. He'll bowl it out underarm to Elliot Anderson in the midfield. Anderson to Nico Williams. If you missed the team news earlier on today, 3 changes for Nottingham Forest from their win against Manchester United at the City Ground on Tuesday. But they look out of sorts today. There's an imbalance, and that's not something we've said regularly about Forest this season. No focal point of a central attacker. They've begun with 3 central defenders, and suffice to say, it's not been much to write home about so far.
I think he'd maybe look to do that again. You know, I don't think he would be too worried about the shape. It's just personnel concentration levels off shoulders. Goals change the whole outcome of the game, and unfortunately those gaps, so that one run over the top, a sensational finish to set the tone of the whole game off Tillemans and to Rodgers, and then it's off, isn't it? The confidence and the switch has changed in the whole game.
Yes. Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0. The goals from Rodgers and Mallon, and they both came inside the opening 15 minutes within 138 seconds of each other. Free kick to Villa given inside the centre circle. What's happening here? Simon Hooper is calling over Morata. Now
he's coming over because he's gone tight. He's had a little nibble, but then he's got away from him. He turned so well to see Rodgers, and he's away. And I think then he had the advantage. He was in his stride, tried a nutmeg, and possibly I think he's unlucky to call him over. It's just getting tight here when you get another look at it. There's not too much, so I don't know what the referee's seeing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's a little nibble. It's contact. It's like aggression to get tight. That's what we want. That's what we need in this game.
Well, he's not booked him, but Simon Hooper called Morata over. They had a conversation for a few seconds. I'm not sure.
He doesn't understand the difference. That's the point. He doesn't understand that is just going tight. It is a little bit of contact, but come on, the guys are even saying, let's play.
Yeah. Strange one that he called him over to say, maybe there's something we don't realise, there's some other little issue, but free kick Tillemans to take for the centre circle, launches it into the penalty area that Forest defend. Murillo gets up well and wins the header. Mings, who'd gone forward, nudges it towards Onana. He's tripped by Anderson. Free kick to Villa. Now this is a better position. This is shooting range. 6 or 7 paces outside the penalty area, slightly right of centre. Tillemans will fancy this. Asensio will fancy this. Forest certainly don't want to go 3-0 down here with 10 minutes remaining of the first half on 5 Live at Villa Park. Elliot Anderson, who's been a very good recruit for Forest this season. He always works so hard in the midfield, but he's given away a free kick in a dangerous area here. Morgan Rogers came over to the edge of the technical area just to have a word with the set-piece coach, Austin McPhee, who's sent in a message, and Rogers has gone across now to deliver that message to the players standing over the set-piece.
It's brilliant when he just steps forward. Anyway, anything happens, here he is, like it's a drum roll. Austin McPhee jumps out, gives a little bit of info, sits back down and says, this goes in, and everyone realises it's on me.
So Forest have brought everyone back into the penalty area to defend this. Matt Sells just aligning his defensive wall. No draft excluder. Asensio, Tillemans, shot on target, saved by Sells. He just stood his ground and the ball came straight at him there, the Belgian goalkeeper.
When you look, his eye line was blocked. Some big Aston Villa players in front of that wall, just trying to take the eye line away, move it slightly to the left, and they're just going to try and use that wind, the condition, to whip it into the far corner. Goalkeeper reads it, comfortable take, and I don't mind that.
Earlier on today in Scotland, Rangers 0, Hibs 2. That is 16 games unbeaten for Hibs in the Premiership. It is a record 5th consecutive home defeat for Barry Ferguson's team. Here at Villa Park, 2-0 to Aston Villa as Asensio has won the ball on the halfway line and he's fed it into Watkins, who's got Malin outside him. Good recovery, Anderson to get back and make a very important challenge. And Villa's counter-attack is brought to a halt. Tillemans fouls Dominguez. Free kick to Nottingham Forest midway inside their own half.
Yeah, again, they're breaking up the counter-attack wherever they possibly can, Villa. That's the message. If I'm Forest, I'm certainly asking, why is that happening? Please, can somebody get hold of it? Is it a yellow card? Is it not? Because Forest can't get any momentum. It's clever from Villa, and if they can keep getting away with it, they will keep doing it. Build-up started. Their passing's a little bit slow from Forest, and I covered them last week against Brighton when I was expecting them not to have much ball, and they did, and it's been a little bit the opposite.
In Rugby Union's Champions Cup today, 4-time winners Leinster completely overpowered Harlequins. They beat them by 62 points to 0 at Croke Park. Montpellier against Gloucester is underway right now in the Challenge Cup. You can listen to that at the moment on Sports Extra. Later on from 8 o'clock, Glasgow Warriors against Leicester Tigers in the Champions Cup is also available on Sports Extra as Murillo tries to win the ball off Asensio, but he has fouled him. Just as Forest thought they would be able to charge through, it comes back for a free kick to Aston Villa near the halfway line.
Yeah, Murillo going very tight. Everybody's jumping on from Forest when they can, trying to be aggressive, but now on it's a little bit too late. They've got to check the shoulders, the awareness. I think this midfield area where it's packed in Alanga, Gibbs-White.
Nice from Malin there. He turned, he got away from Anderson. He's all the way to the tee, but then Yates stops him as Nottingham Forest regain possession, but then Onana gets it back immediately for Villa. Forest are finding it difficult to pick their passes today. If you're just joining us, Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Goals from Rogers and Malin, just over 2 minutes between the goals. Tillemans drags it away from Ilanga. There's a swagger about Aston Villa. They know they're playing well.
Yeah, they know they're a good team, and when you give them a lead, that is the problem. And I tell you why everyone will want to play well. Look at the games ahead for them. They'll think, can I get some minutes?
This is Yates back defending inside his penalty area. It's a really poor pass out. He's given it to Rogers. Now Tillemans on the left-hand side sends in a low cross, and Milenkovic anywhere will do as he hoops it away and out for a corner. Hang on, it didn't go out. It was cleared with an amazing backspin. It bounced on the goal line, but it didn't actually go out of play on the dead ball line, and it's still there. And Forest were lucky they didn't switch off there, because to all purposes it looked like that was going out for a corner. Disasi tries his luck, goes for a shot from miles out, looking for his first ever goal for Villa. Miles out, miles wide.
Yeah, it was, and do you know what? Just down from the commentary box, Marcus Rashford, a little snigger as he just comes out to have that warm-up. A little laugh at Disasi, just put it over the bar. I think they'll mention that, won't they? You stay back there, you defend would be the message. Don't come forward where the forwards are doing their thing. But You know, it's again just some of the clearances from Forest are a little bit sloppy. Villa really good on that sort of counter after Forest come out.
This is Morgan Gibbs-White spinning a ball out to the right wing. Just seemed to veer in the wind. Dominguez had to change his run as the ball came towards him, and Maatsen took advantage of that hesitation to crunch in and win the tackle. Last touch off Dominguez. It is a throw-in to Aston Villa. So just over 5 minutes to go of normal time in the first half here in the Premier League. During half-time, we'll be back at Aintree with Mark Chapman after jockey Patrick Mullins won the Grand National on Nick Rockett for his trainer father Willie Mullins. Mullins, who took the first 3 places in the race at Aintree today. At 33-1, Nick Rockett winning the Grand National, beating last year's winner Ian Maximus, who finished in second place. This is Yates, a shot, but not a dangerous one, comfortably received by Emi Martinez. He was outside the penalty area. He got a bit of curl on that Ryan Yates, but he would need to hit it sweeter than that to trouble the Argentinian international keeper.
Yeah, really comfortable. Long range effort again, right into the goalkeeper. But I'm sure Mark Chapman will be enjoying the aftermath of the racing today. Just relaxing at this point in the sunshine, I would think. Nice glass, or is he still working for 10,
work to be
15
done.
more minutes?
Still work to be done,
We'll
Brownie.
see.
Yeah, he's very professional, his chappers. He's got the half-time.
Maybe a shandy.
Ball played for the half well out by Tillemans is not his best today, and that carries through to Matt Sells, the Forest goalkeeper, away to our left. Forest make another mistake. Maatsen's on fire today. Wins the ball, unfortunate not to get past Morato. Out it goes for a throw-in. Maatsen's playing like a player with a point to prove here. Scored an international duty, knows that he probably should be playing more games for Villa, and he wants to impress Unai Emery today to be involved in some of the big games to come. I mean, this could be a dress rehearsal for the FA Cup final, these two in separate semis. Here's Mallon on the score sheet already today. Tries a little trick on Yates, but it is blocked by the Nottingham Forest midfielder. Dominguez penned in by the corner flag, plays it off Maatsen, and out for a Nottingham Forest throw, but still very much in their right wing-back position, and they're finding it hard to get down the other end.
It's been tough, hasn't it, for Dominguez in that position. Not really sure whether to go, whether to stay. Those little passes from Forest and the pace of Maatsen just pushing forward, allowed to go. Tyrone Mings saying, go on you go and press. Keep them locked in there, and the wind just swirling down into this bottom corner. And they've just not really got anywhere. I think the condition might be a little bit worse than we think sat here.
Yeah, it is windy today. By the way, you can listen to coverage of the Japanese Grand Prix on 5 Live from 5:30 tomorrow morning if you're up early. And commentary of Belgium against England in the Women's Nations League is available on Tuesday. That's from 7:30 on Sports Extra. Big week of live football to come across 5 Live and Sports Extra. Arsenal against Real Madrid in the Champions League quarter-final on Tuesday. Paris Saint-Germain host Aston Villa on Wednesday, and we'll be in Lyon in France on Thursday for Manchester United's Europa League quarter-final. So much to come in the coming days here on this network. 3 minutes to go to the break at Villa Park under the bright blue skies. The pitch itself is in shade, but plenty evidence of the sun, and you can see thousands of spectators. Far side of the pitch was, they're all having to shield their eyes from the sun to keep an eye on the action down on the pitch. Anderson plays it forward. That's a good ball into the penalty area. Gibbs wide to the byline, left-hand side. Good recovery by Garcia. He went with him all the way, and in fact the flag goes up anyway, and Morgan Gibbs-White had been in an offside position. Forest, who have not been able to trouble Emi Martinez at all, really. They've had 2 efforts wide, but nothing of note on target from Nuno Espirito Santo's team today.
That was very tight with Gibbs-White. I thought he might have let it go, but great recovery. Garcia diving right to the line, that desire, making sure that ball doesn't come across that front post. It's important as a fullback or as any defender. Just make sure that the space is covered. It was a tight decision. The assistant referee decides Gibbs-White was offside, but they just can't find the solution, the answer. I mean, can Forest just get something before half-time? It'd be a massive psychological change in that dressing room, because you can imagine Nuno's going to be trying to sort a few things out.
That's the voice of Michael Brown watching this game with us here at Villa Park on 5 Live. Aston Villa 2 goals to the good against Nottingham Forest, and we've got 90 seconds of normal time to go until the break. This is the last weekend before the semi-automated offside system comes into the Premier League, so No doubt that will all be under the radar and very quiet and no fuss made about that next weekend.
It might keep us busy, mightn't it?
That's good work from Elliot Anderson in the midfield. He's won the ball from Yuri Tillemans. Could Forrest get one back ahead of half-time? That would change the narrative. Gibbs-White takes over, brings the ball away from Anderson and gives it to Nico Williams on the left-hand side. Villa been able to get a lot of players back here as Hudson-Odoi rolls it to Yates on the edge of the area, steadies himself but no room to get a shot, rolls it to Nico Dominguez on the right-hand side. This is where it's very evident that there's no Taiwo Wanyi, there's no Chris Wood, neither of them on the bench today. Nuno Espirito Santo, who did say in his press conference yesterday that Wood would get a fitness test earlier on today to see would he be able to be involved. He obviously wasn't able to pass that. Anderson, that's a good ball in, but Elanga doesn't control it. That was a chance for Forrest, but it goes through to Emi Martinez.
Yeah, really nice ball, that run in behind, breaking lines, and you've got to be careful there. He gets caught, doesn't he, Anderson?
But play on as Forrest still have possession here. Unai Emery is standing inside his technical area, both arms raised up above his head, and just wants his team to be steady here through to the half-time whistle. It's been a very impressive first half from Villa, and he doesn't want any twist in the tail here. Yates has it in the centre circle for Forrest. Forrest, who've yet to get going. Just one solitary minute to be added on.
Look at this shape there, Connor. Everybody from Villa are just saying, right there, that's the point he's making, is he? Do not move now, wait. Key moment of the match.
Not long to go until the half-time whistle. Here's a burst by Hudson-Odoi on the far side. Nico Williams sends it across. Dominguez, header on target, but saved by Emi Martinez, straight at the keeper. That was decent delivery. One of the first times today Forrest have played a really dangerous ball into the box, but no offence to Dominguez, he's no Chris Wood when it comes to finishing a header from 10 yards out.
No, good ball in. Nico Williams, one wing back to another. Drifts it in, and he just sneaks off the shoulder, doesn't he? And I think he's got good contact. The ball's in the right area. He's got to do better. He's got to get direction, test the goalkeeper right into his mid-drift. Such a comfortable take for him, and what a waste. That would have really mixed things up and changed it. But look at them now, no rush, just waiting. But they've got the distances right there, Villa.
There is the whistle for half-time, and it is a very satisfied Villa Park that applauds their players towards the tunnel at the break here, ahead of a very exciting week with Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League to come on Wednesday. Aston Villa look to be in real fine fettle. They took the lead through Morgan Rogers. Just over 2 minutes later, Daniel Malin made it too. At that stage, Villa were running away with it. Forrest dug in a little bit, Michael Brown, but Nuno Espirito Santo does not look happy as he walks towards the tunnel, and Forrest are going to have to be much improved just to make a contest of this in the second half at 2-0.
Yeah, massive improvement needed. That shape that we talked about, that setup where Forrest are really comfortable out of possession, but those little changes, Oleana in the right back position, he was the one who was missing, but they got caught on shoulders, people running in behind them. And from there on, you know, it just got worse, didn't it? Morgan Rogers, a lovely finish into that area, that left foot underneath the goalkeeper. Then it was all about Maatsen. He had a really, really strong first half, and he was bombing forward. His timing of his runs were excellent, and that run down that left-hand side with that delightful ball right across the face for Malin changed everything. Villa were cool, they were composed. Forrest huffed and puffed with good opportunity from Elanga, and then right at the end from Dominguez, but they've got to find much more in this game or it's going to get even worse.
Yeah, there were only brief glimpses from Forrest of what they can do, and the absence of Chris Wood has been very, very noticeable. Third place in the table, having a brilliant campaign, but Nottingham Forest are under pressure here. Half-time at Villa Park. It is Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Michael. Earlier in the Premier League, Everton 1, Arsenal 1, 9-man Crystal Palace 2, 10-man Brighton 1, West Ham 2, Bournemouth 2 and Ipswich 1, Wolves 2. Burnley have gone top of the Championship after they won at Coventry. Sheffield United were beaten at Oxford. Leeds drew at Luton. Birmingham stay 11 clear in League One after a 6-2 win over Barnsley. Bradford are the new leaders in League Two after they beat Crewe, and Walsall lost at home to Port Vale. In Scotland, Rangers were beaten at home by Hibs. In the Challenge Cup quarter-final, the Hull derby was won by KR as they beat Hull FC. Saracens and Harlequins both concede over 60 points as they're dumped out of Rugby Union's Champions Cup. But the big story of the day came here at Aintree. Willie Mullins training the first three horses past the post in the Grand National. The winner was the 33-1 shot Nicky Rocket, ridden by his son Patrick. Last year's winner, Iron Maximus, was second. Grange Clare West back in third. We will hear from the winning owner of the horse after the latest BBC News with Lisa McCormick.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Jaguar Land Rover says it's pausing all shipments to America while it considers the impact of Donald Trump's new tariffs. Vehicles being exported to the US will be hit with a 25% levy as well as the 10% baseline tariff that kicked in today. Mark Ashton is a business correspondent.
Jaguar Land Rover, they sell 400,000 cars every year. About a quarter of those sales do go to America, and the company has now confirmed a month-long pause in shipments. Now, we understand they've got about 2 months' worth of cars out there already sold. But on the flip side, you've got rumours that Nissan, another major car maker, is possibly looking to physically make more cars in America, which would be music to President Trump's ears.
The videos emerged that casts doubt on Israel's account of an attack in Gaza 2 weeks ago, which left 15 medical workers dead. Mobile phone footage appears to show ambulances with their emergency lights flashing before being fired on by Israeli soldiers. Israel had previously said a convoy of vehicles approached them without their lights on. A man and a 10-year-old girl have died in a caravan fire at a holiday park in Lincolnshire. Emergency crews were sent to the Coastfields Holiday Park in Inglemells early this morning. Officials in central India have launched an investigation into allegations that an imposter posing as a British doctor performed heart surgery on patients, resulting in at least 7 deaths. He allegedly took a job at the hospital using a fake name and claimed to be a cardiologist. And the Home Office says the number of migrants who've crossed the Channel in small boats since Labour came to power has exceeded 30,000. Numbers so far this year are up a quarter on the same period in 2024.
Football, a game of passion, rivalry and loyalty. But decades ago, beneath the cheers and the chants lay a different kind of warfare called hooliganism.
On a match day, everyone was your enemy.
We'll uncover the brutal, bloody battles where punching below the belt was a way of life.
It was just a day of mayhem.
Gangster presents Hooligans.
They were destroying the football club, the game I love.
Listen first on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport.
With Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Nick Rocket, very game, trying to fend off last year's winner, Iron Maximus. Grange Clare West in third place. Nick Rocket is going to win the Grand National for Willie Mullins and his son Patrick. What a family day out at Aintree. Nick Rocket has won it.
The 33-1 shot, Nick Rocket, trained by Willie Mullins and ridden by his son Patrick, winning the Grand National. We heard from both of them at the top of Sports Report, and if you missed it, then I would advise you go back and listen via BBC Sounds. Willie Mullins in particular, incredibly emotional. So having heard from trainer and jockey, let's complete the set and hear from the owner, Stuart Andrew.
Being honest, we really thought we'd a fantastic chance. We just really can't understand why he won a Thyestes chase, he won a Bobby Joe, and he went down to like being second favourite, and then he drifted out in the betting to like 25-33-1, and all my friends are saying, Stuart, why's you drifted out? Saying, go put some more money on him. And you know, the rumours about he wouldn't stay. The horse has shown everything. If you look at his Thyestes chase run, where I think he gave Velvet Elvis over a stone, he actually won by a distance, and nobody's sort of
that said
onto it.
Yeah, that said, Stuart, he came from a long way back. He crept into the race. Your eyes would have been firmly on him. What were the emotions like for you?
I were actually stood with Mark Pittman and Nick Sutton. Mark's he trained Everblessed for us to win Hennessy, and I'm saying to Mark, where is he, Mark? I can't see him. And I'm saying to Nick, where is he? And they're saying, oh, don't worry about him. He's creeping away. Then all of a sudden, he's gone from the middle to the inside. He's jumped up front. When he jumped up front, I knew nothing would get past him.
And Stuart, we were hearing earlier a very emotional success for you. How much of a tonic will this be for your family and what you've been through?
I would think that's a really hard question to ask me just at this moment in time. Being honest, we always kind of thought that he could do this. And Sadie, when Sadie bought him, she always said, oh, he'll be a good horse. Willie'll get us a good horse, which he has. I'm stood here now in front of everybody. What more can I say? Willie and the team are fantastic. There is no man on God's earth that can train racehorses like W.P. Mullins and his staff. We have to remember the staff. Willie will tell you, it's all part of the teamwork, and it is. He is unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
How will this change your life? You're a national winner. You've won a national.
Will it change my life? Well, I retire at the end of April. Being honest, it's going to give me some fantastic memories. I'd like to think going forward it'll change my life, but after my wife died, my life changed, and through Willie and some of his friends, I've got a life back and I enjoy it. So yeah, it's going to change my life. Why wouldn't it? But you know, being good enough, being here today, it's not about changing us lives. It's about getting up every day and doing what you do.
Stuart, well done. Enjoy every minute of it.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you.
Stuart Andrew, the owner of Nick Rocket, the 33-1 winner of the 2025 Grand National. Gina still with us. If we'd have, had a coffee this morning and said a Willie Mullins horse will win the National, we'd have probably gone, okay, great, shrugged and thought, right, and then we move on. Honestly, I think I've had a tear in my eye about 6, 7, 8 times since that horse crossed the line. The emotion around here is palpable.
It was unbelievable. There would, you're right, be a few eye rolls if you'd said, right, another Willie Mullins win. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a guy who's all conquering in his field. He's the most successful trainer in Cheltenham history. He's a multiple-time champion jockey. He's won 4 Gold Cups. He's won 2 Nationals before. But there were so many strands, as you say, to this story. We've just heard there from the winning owner, Stuart Andrew, who tragically lost his wife, Sadie. Sadie, who was great childhood friends with Willie Mullins. So Willie getting very emotional when talking to you on Sports Report a little bit earlier on about that relationship and about the loss and about how he's was taken Stuart under his wing and brought him on trips to the Melbourne Cup and has got to know him after the passing of Sadie. And then there was Willie as a father, which we do see occasionally, you know, at Cheltenham. Patrick rode the 100th winner, which made history for Willie at the Cheltenham Festival last year. But to see how proud and emotional he was about his son riding that winner was quite something.
The whole of that interview was with Willie was an interview with a father, and then an interview with the friend of someone who has passed away. I mean, it was, and he was sitting in exactly that chair that you are sitting in now, with holding a tissue between his fingers, which he still needed to sort of dab his eyes or his nose from time to time. I've never seen Willie Mullins like that.
And that was a good hour after the race. He'd actually broken down up on the podium when accepting the trophy and all of the hullabaloo and media commitments that go with that. You know, he was almost unsteady on his feet. He was finding it difficult to find the words. He was finding it difficult to process. And I think by the time he got to us, it was just this outpouring of emotion as he realised all the different strands that came together. It was, you couldn't help but be swept up in it, and you know, just so thrilled for the whole team because you know they are fantastic at their job. We get used to seeing them win all these races, but a moment for Patrick, who is still an amateur jockey. He's chosen to stay in the amateur ranks. He's the most successful amateur ever. He's a little bit different. He's professional, really. It's only in name that he remains an amateur, largely due to his weight. But he's ridden. His aim is to ride 1,000 winners. He's well on his way to doing that, and there's so many strings to his bow as well. He writes so eloquently. He's a regular contributor to the Racing Post. He actually acted in a theatre production just last year. He's just had his first child. He's a multi-talented, hugely intelligent thinker, and he can go out there and ride a Grand National winner as well.
Very quickly, do you think so much discussion about this race in the build-up to it, how the horses get into it, the size of the field, whether it's been made easier, the time it goes off, etc., 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 constantly. Do you think the race needed this story?
Needed a heartwarming story, I think so. There'd be no denying everyone would be behind Nick Rockett and that success. And as you say, sometimes when you get another favourite, and look, Iron Maximus turned up. He showed up today. He finished a very close, fast finishing second. It was an excellent run from him. But that element of the horse trained on the beach, the 100-1 winner from the small stable, was slightly getting lost. And even though this is Willie Mullins, it feels we've got a little bit of that magic back.
Thank you, Gina. See you soon. Gina Bryce, part of our 5 Live racing team. Let's go back to the day's Premier League action. We'll start with Wolves, who came from behind to beat Ipswich 2-1. Here's Jurgen Strand-Larsen, who got the winner.
A lot of thoughts in the head now, especially good thoughts and celebrating with the fans. Yeah, amazing comeback, and that's what we're here for. I think we looked like 2 different teams today, and it's nice to see that we can come back after a pretty bad first half.
A huge game. We know how much it meant to you and the fans. To score the winner in it and in front of those supporters, where does that moment rank in your so far young career?
No, of course. I've scored many goals already and many important goals, but obviously this one is big. Not the prettiest one, probably the ugliest one I have, but it doesn't matter. Into the net it went, and I was onside barely, so that's nice. But yeah, obviously a massive goal at the end of the game.
Jurgen Strand-Larsen, who got the winner for Wolves at Ipswich. One really good stat that's come out after that game. Since Vitor Pereira took over Wolves on the 19th of December, they have taken more points than the 3 promoted sides put together. And in fact, tomorrow, Southampton will be relegated if they fail to beat Tottenham. 6:06 on the way. Chris?
Yeah, good afternoon, Mark. Yeah, victory for Vita. Want to hear from Wolves fans on the job that he's done. Got beat Ipswich today without the main man, Matthias Cunha. So it looks like Wolves are safe now. And Ipswich fans, did you expect to go down this season? Did you bottle it? Were you just not good enough? Will you come back stronger? Want to hear from Arsenal fans?
Bottle it?
Well, it's a question, Mark, to Ipswich fans.
I mean,
you're obviously angry about that. I mean, phone in if you like, 08085 909 693 or text 85058.
I'll text.
You do that. And want to hear from Arsenal fans. Did you see their starting lineup today, Mikel Arteta? I mean, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I've travelled all the way up to Merseyside. I would expect him to put his strongest team out. Didn't want to do that, Mikel Arteta, prioritising for the game against Madrid. Do you understand that? But basically it was a white flag, wasn't it, from Mikel Arteta, giving up on the title race. Bournemouth and Brighton, you've blown your chance of Champions League football, or at least I think you have done. And the M23...
You're very sensationalist this evening.
Well, no, am I? Really?
White flags, bottled it, blown it?
Well, these are questions, Mark, and I want to hear from Crystal Palace fans on that M23 derby. I know there's a lot of anger if you call it the M23 derby, but would we be being disrespectful to the M23 if we didn't call them that? But Crystal Palace fans, what a game. 3 sendings off. Mateta's goal, Mark. Honestly, what a striker he's been this season. Absolutely brilliant. They've done the double over Brighton this season, so bragging rights for Crystal Palace. Possible top half finish. What a job Oliver Glasner has done. Bazball up at Rangers. They were beaten today. That title race is done. And the Championship, intriguing, isn't it? Leeds United. Daniel Farke, did he say he's 100% certain that Leeds will stay up? They drew at Luton today. Sheffield United lost at Burnley atop, and there's one hell of a race on at the bottom of the Championship, Mark.
You want people to phone up if you're being disrespectful to the M23?
No, I'm just making a point. That's what it's called, isn't it? The M23.
08085 909 693. By the way, Tom Banton, 344 not out at the end of day 2 of the County Championship for Somerset. That is some start to the season for him. Back underway at Villa Park. Connor and Michael.
Thanks very much, Mark. Still Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Both teams have made changes over the break after a first half in which Villa dominated, got 2 goals in very quick succession. And Nottingham Forest were troubling Very little in terms of promising to get back into this, but still 45 minutes to go. The Villa changes in defence. Ezri Konsa has come on for Andis Garcia, who was playing at right back. And Konsa has gone into the middle alongside Mings with Axel Disasi, who has played right back quite regularly since joining Aston Villa, reverting to that position. And the change for Forest is an interesting one. Anthony Elanga, 3 goals in his last 2 Premier League games, got the early winner against his old team, Manchester United, on Tuesday, but he's been hooked. And Jota Silva, who's been the most used substitute in the Premier League this season, has come on in his place. More of that in a moment, because Jota Silva's on the ball just outside the penalty area. Forest playing from right to left as we look down, but challenged by Maatsen, who's had a wonderful first half. Villa regain possession but don't hold on to it. Forest would love Michael Brown to get a proper foothold in this game early in the second half. 2-0 down. This is a difficult place to be 2-0 down at.
Yeah, very much so. They've come out, started with tempo, desire to get the ball. Interesting choice, and I can only imagine it. And Chilanga's carrying something, so you wouldn't have been the one you would have taken off, that's for certain, but we'll find out at a later stage. But Ellie Anderson just gets a little tackle, stud mark on the side of his left ankle. He's felt that one, but an opportunity now for them to put a good quality ball in. They could do with an early goal.
Certainly could do. Free kick to Nottingham Forest. This is just down below us. Forest in their change kit today, sky blue. They're playing from right to left. The Villa goals scored by Rodgers and Mallon. And Emi Martinez has got his defensive line here right along the edge of the penalty area. Villa defend. Murillo, he's got to take it here. He's got some tall targets to aim for, far side of the pitch from him, but he rolls it short to Nico Williams, and Williams shoots from miles out, and it goes wide. And well, that is speculative. He is way closer to the centre circle there than he was to the D of the penalty area. That's how far out it was. I mean, if it goes in, we never stop talking about it, but that's a shot in a million that he's tried there.
I was just watching, do you reckon he looked behind him and said, right, who's created that set piece then? Look at Villa's, they've got someone do that, and he's up, no one was next to me. That was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, that kind of sums up Forest Day. Things you expect them to do better, not quite happening at the moment. 2-0 they trail. Murillo's clearance here is going to come straight back to him. Rodgers edging it on, but Murillo controls, pushes it in front of Nico Williams, who comes cannoning over the halfway line. Helps it on to Hudson-Odoi, running towards the penalty area, ball close to his feet, tries to take on Disasi. Good control by the Frenchman, who's now got the ball shielded on the byline. He tried to pay it off Hudson-Odoi for a goal kick. That didn't work out, and Nottingham Forest regained possession. Anderson, cross it towards the back post, looking for Dominguez, but Emi Martinez steps off his goal line and wins the ball in the air and bowls it out underarm, and then Mallon's taken down by Morata, and Morata's going to see yellow for that. Morata, who knew that never in a month of Sundays was he going to win the sprint there, so he takes down Daniel Mallon near the halfway line and takes the yellow card for his team. Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
Yeah, good pass out again. Just a quick release, Martinez into Tielemans, he drives forward, the weight, the distance into Mallon is a good pass, and that draws the defender. Good touch, push it into space, and the foul was inevitable. He could have just ran the corner, blocked him off, but he decides to lunge in. Now he can't do anything.
Well, these sides met in December. It was a thrilling game at the City Ground. Aston Villa took the lead midway through the second half. Unai Emery's team led until the 87th minute. Then late goals for Forest. Milenkovic and Elanga turned the game on its head, and Forest won 2-1. Could they pull off that sort of trick here at Villa Park today? There's not been much evidence of it, as Anderson here fouls Onana. Another free kick to Villa. They're baying for another yellow card here. I think Elliot Anderson's going to get away with that, but it is a free kick to the hosts.
Yeah, it's a free kick, to be honest, and you just see Onana step forward into the middle area, drives quickly, there's all sorts of fouls going on, and then he still manages to stay on his feet, check back. So Elliot Anderson comes tight, and you thought he might have got a yellow card, but he didn't. Now Mings going all the way.
Tyrone Mings has made a good driving run forward here. Maatsen crosses in low. Milenkovic did just about enough. He was fortunate there. Milenkovic came off his knee or his shin pad or something, but it awkwardly came through. It could have fallen for a teammate. He was lucky it flashed out of the box, and Villa do regain possession, but back near the halfway line now with Ezri Konsa, their half-time substitute. Last time Forest won here at Villa Park, Stuart Pearce scored a penalty inside the opening minute. That's how long ago it was. This is Disasi, right-hand side of the defence coming out for Villa. They're playing from left to right as we look down in the claret and blue. Disasi tries to give it back to Asensio, but that is intercepted by Anderson. Now let's see if Forest can transition here. They've given it to the left wing. Down goes Nico Williams, this time tripped by Asensio, and he'll see yellow. So, a couple of yellow cards early in the second half here to suggest that Villa have got to be just careful. As Asensio comes forward and Hooper writes his name into the book, he's come back to shake hands with Nico Williams, but he cleaned him out there.
Yeah, just getting a look how bad the contact was, and I thought it was going to be much worse when I seen the reaction of Nico Williams, but it wasn't a great deal. He just hurt his ankle as he did that, but again, wasted. Another set piece. This is really, really poor, isn't it? The disbelief on Nuno's faces. Just clips the ball in, and Morgan Gibbs-White just drifts in behind that defensive line and wasted yet again.
You'd be surprised if it's the case, but it just feels concentration is not on it today for Nottingham Forest. We know the talent this team has, we know how well structured they've been all season, but they're making a lot of rudimentary errors today that are hampering any sort of flow of a comeback. 51 minutes on the clock, Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Loads of live football coming up for you tomorrow, and indeed over the next coming week. There's 4 Premier League commentaries across the network tomorrow. From 2 o'clock you can hear Fulham against Liverpool on 5 Live as Disasi comes forward for Villa here, but his attempted pass through is intercepted by Murillo, and Forest will get it up to the halfway line with Jota Silva, and that's a good ball to Hudson-Odoi, one-on-one against Konza, and he comes in field, Hudson-Odoi, back to Morgan Gibbs-White, still 10 yards outside the penalty area. Dominguez available on the far side, back in for Gibbs-White, who tried to clip one, and it's a good pass actually, but Hudson-Odoi can't get the shot away. He tees up Nico Williams, this could be it! Oh, he's put the shot wide. That, hands down, is the best opportunity that Forest have had today. You know, it wouldn't have counted anyway. Hudson-Odoi was offside earlier in the build-up, but Nico Williams wasn't to know that. He played on and he put the shot fractionally wide.
I'll tell you what, it was a tight one, but again, Gibbs-White excellent in the build-up, moving it around, good awareness, then puts that deep ball in, and Hudson-Odoi, but he just couldn't settle. And Nico Williams backing it up under a bit of contact, and then the goal opens, that far post. Tries to curl it home, he's got to hit the target just wide of that post.
Last season, Villa won this game 4-2 here at Villa Park. They scored early that day. Ollie Watkins opener inside 4 minutes. Today they were 2-0 up after 15. Here's Hudson-Odoi trying to spark a comeback, shoots and bends it just wide again. Now he was appealing, it came off the fingertips of Emi Martinez, but referee Simon Hooper says no, he says goal kick. Just moments like that where Hudson-Odoi's hoping to nestle it into the bottom corner, but that's 3 or 4 times now that shots from cross goal positions have gone wide of the target.
Tell you what, that was a really good effort, actually intelligent. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. If you just watch the goalkeeper, he knows, he gets across, and probably if it was better, I think he'd still save it. Great positional play from the goalkeeper, but it was exciting, it was better attacking move, much better start to this second half for Forest.
Callum Hudson-Odoi, who has 3 goals in his last 5 Premier League appearances, scored the winner against Manchester City last month. Forest trying to move through the gears here, trying to make more of a contest of this. Villa still 2-0 ahead. Morata's going to step on the accelerator, and he did. It took him a minute to reach top speed there, but he got there and he beat Watkins in the race, and he touched it back to the goalkeeper. This is Onana in the midfield for Villa. Down he goes, fouled by Yates, I think. Free kick to Villa. They've taken it quickly. Asensio weaving across the midfield. Just oozes class, Asensio. Oh, that's not good from Jota Silva. Asensio passed the ball back to Mings, and Jota Silva came in and crunched in his ankle, and that's a free kick to Aston Villa. And Jota Silva tried to stretch out his arm to shake hands with the referee there, and Simon Hooper, probably feeling the optics of that wouldn't be too good, refused that. He said, maybe go shake hands with the player you've just kicked. And Jota Silva does help Asensio back to his feet.
Well, he was convincing, wasn't he? Asensio, fantastic. Goes into different positions, then as he waits, he's just not able to see if there is any contact, and there is a foot on the opposite standing leg in the back of his sort of calf, Achilles, and he is caught, but it's inevitable if you take that much time. Someone will catch it.
Yeah, there was something of the showboat about it, how Asensio waited and then passed the ball, and I think Jota Silva was just letting him know that that would not be tolerated. 2-0 Aston Villa still lead.
He looked good, and then you sort of gone, right, but I can't accept that anymore. You know, it's nice watching it. But
I can't have you looking this good when we're 2-0 down. Still bright blue skies overhead. It's lovely on these tea time games on a Saturday to still have so much daylight after the clock change. Feels like summer football, mind you. There's still a bit of chill in the breeze that is whipping around Birmingham at the moment. Dominguez preparing to take a throw in on the far side, leaves it for Morata. Villa fans think they're taking it from the wrong position. If Forest could get one back, it would cause a bit of panic, but at the moment this is comfortable for Aston Villa ahead of a very big week. Another throw-in to Forest. Again, Dominguez leaves it for Morata. This is just inside Aston Villa territory. Forest playing from right to left. That was a foul throw by Morata. Schoolboy error number 1 gives possession back to Villa.
I don't want to be too harsh, but is that pretty much summed his day up, really? Switching on for the first goal and then a foul throw. You're leaving yourself a bit of criticism, aren't you, with that?
So far, hang on, we'll come back to this because Asensio's won possession in the midfield and he goes around Anderson. He's got a swagger about him at the moment as Marco Asensio. Villa give it back to the goalkeeper Martinez. So far, Morata, when he has started Premier League games, this is only the 4th time he started in the Premier League. They have won those matches 13-0, Forest. So it has been a success when he started before today. Perhaps this is not the best indication of what he can do. Williams here, Nico Williams for Forest, plays a good ball into the penalty area. Anderson's about to shoot, Jota Silva does shoot, and Forest have got one back. And Aston Villa, who were looking comfortable at 2-0, well, it ain't so comfortable anymore now. Back to 2-1, and Forest have still got 35 minutes to get back into this now. It's a whole new ball game at Villa Park here. Goals change games, and Jota Silva, sprung from the bench at half-time, has half the deficit for Nottingham Forest here.
Well, he does really well, doesn't he, down the left-hand side. Nico Williams, Disasi says, you're not going to beat me, but he actually pulls it back, sort of in a different line. And as Jota Silva gets his shot, he takes a good touch, left foot, thinking, is he going to go far corner? And I think it sort of clips off, is it Konza, off his bottom of his calf, diverts it into the opposite side of the goal. So a bit of luck to it, but they've started well. You know, you get into good positions, things happen.
First time today that something has gone Forest's way. Now, can they build on it? Gibbs White gives it to Jota Silva on the far side. Villa, who were showboating in all swagger a few moments ago, suddenly need to knuckle down again. They realise the hard work is not yet completed today. The ball goes out of play on the far side. It's going to be a throw into Nottingham Forest in front of the travelling fans who, well, let's just say this has piqued their interest a bit now again. They are up off their seats and even more involved. And they've seen quite a few comebacks from their team this season. Let's see if Forest can come back from 2-0. That's something they've not done this campaign. Williams has it on the left-hand side. Suddenly Villa look a bit laboured. And I'm sure Unai Emery will be thinking, do I need to make a change now? Williams plays it down the line. Gibbs White, if he's onside, it's a very good pass. Controls it, no flag. Has a little look up to see who's with him. Clever back heel. Nico Williams to the byline, back for Elliot Anderson, and it's blocked away out for a corner off Yuri Tielemans. It's suddenly all Nottingham Forest here at Villa Park.
What a start to the second half. That little bit of a drag back from Gibbs White. Nico Williams getting forward wherever he possibly can. We didn't see that, did we, in the first half? Pulls it back. There's a bit of a coming together. Anderson and Tielemans tries to block the shot, but diverts for a corner.
Forest suddenly asking all the questions. Elliot Anderson to take the corner kick. 5 live from the BBC. 2-1 Villa lead here in a game that always promised to be very interesting today. It appeared one-sided in the first half with Villa in control, but now it's back to 2-1. Here's Elliot Anderson. Little volleyed back heel to Morgan Gibbs-White as Forest rediscover their swagger. It's down on the deck for Hudson-Odoi, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Left-hand side of the field as Nottingham Forest come forward. Jota Silva gives it back to Hudson-Odoi. Accelerates away from Malin. Then it's come awkwardly off Onana, and it's fallen to Anderson in the penalty area, and he shoots just across the face of goal. That was a whisker away from making this 2-2, and Aston Villa don't know what's happened here, but suddenly they're under extreme pressure.
It's a brilliant play from Forest down the left-hand side, the combinations, the little short passes, and then go quickly into the penalty area. Reverse pass from Callum Hudson-Odoi, and it's Elliot Anderson joining in. He sort of strikes across it, the outside of the right foot. It just drifts past Martinez's far post and almost sneaks in. Either go again.
Forest dominating the game suddenly, but still 2-1 down. Nico Williams gives it to Callum Hudson-Odoi, stepping into the penalty area on the left, lofts it towards the far post where Dominguez was arriving, but it was slightly overcooked from Hudson-Odoi, and it goes out for a goal kick to Aston Villa. And Unai Emery has done the, in case of emergency, break glass here. He's about to make a triple change. He's going to bring on Marcus Rashford, he's going to bring on Jacob Ramsey, and he's going to bring on Boubacar Kamara. 3 changes for Villa as Unai Emery tries to re-establish his team's control of this game.
I think the conditions not allowing them to get out. They're just keeping the pressure on, this Forest team, but they're doing it with tempo and pace. Villa decide to wait, not play out, go over it, just give them a little bit of a delay. I don't mind that. I think it's sensible when you've had about 5 minutes.
You mentioned the wind to me at half-time, Michael, has been a factor in this. And, I mean, the wind is going quite strongly in the direction that Villa were playing the first half, and they dominated. And now, with the wind on their backs, Forest are dominating. It kind of feels like something that would matter in a school game, but it's having an effect here in the Premier League. Playing with the wind. As Murillo turns away from Mallon, there was a foul on Elliot Anderson, and that's going to be a free kick to Nottingham Forest near the halfway line. Murillo wanted to take it quickly, but the referee is halting play here because Aston Villa are about to make their triple change. 5 Live from the BBC, the Premier League at Villa Park, this Saturday tea time game. And Marcus Rashford coming on here, Kamara and Ramsey as well. Watkins is the first who makes way, so Rashford takes the place of Ollie Watkins and will come on here to spearhead the Aston Villa attack. Daniel Mallon on the score sheet today. 2 goals in 2 games for him now. His first 2 goals for Villa. He makes way to allow the introduction of Jacob Ramsey. And Boubacar Kamara will come on in place of Onana, who's not had much game time in the last couple of months. And that is fresh legs into the engine room for Aston Villa here. When play resumes, it's going to be a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Murillo is ready to take it. Hands on his hips. Jota Silva's gone into what is a blatantly offside position here, just trying to unsettle the Villa defence as it's played in from Murillo. And Matson and Mings jump together and it goes out for a corner kick. And suddenly everything is proving difficult for Villa now. This is how Forest were feeling in the first half.
Yeah, they are. Just that one long strike. The ball's floated in. You're always backtracking because of the high line. And you just can't do much about it. Mings heads it into another corner. It's an outswing out. The last one they put on top of the goalkeeper. See if they go short.
That goal from Jota Silva, the first that Villa have conceded in 5 games in all competitions. Here comes the corner. Milenkovic was the target of the back post. Konza did well up against him. Hudson-Odoi is picking up the pieces here on the left wing, and all his outfield teammates are still in field of him as Nico Williams launches it. Martinez comes, good commanding of his 6-yard box by the Argentinian. Jota Silva tries to nudge into him, and Emi Martinez, probably not the customer to do that with, reacts and sort of pushes Jota Silva to the ground as referee Simon Hooper comes across. Michael Brown.
I tell you what was interesting there. Obviously, Jota Silva, Emi Martinez, like little and large, pushing each other, which is actually quite funny. He's trying to hold his own and say, OK, I can handle it, as he just gets a little bit of contact, dives to the floor. But from there on, Morata, who's already on a yellow card, comes forward, pushes opponents. What's he thinking? One strike to the chest, someone go down, you're leaving the field of play, and you don't need to do it. All he's done, hasn't he? He's trying to block the line. Emi Martinez, he's come back at him. They've got hold of each other. Just let's go. Come on, dives to the floor.
Yeah, a little bit of amateur theatrics from all involved there, actually. As play will restart. Free kick has been given to Aston Villa, who've got a 2-1 lead here, but this has become an intriguing second half with Forest now asking much better questions, much better quality of play from Nuno Espirito Santo's team. Much more what we've been used to seeing this season. These 2 clubs who've been enjoying wonderful campaigns. Villa all excited about their Champions League quarter-final to come in midweek. Forest excited to be in the Champions League next season. It's great to see them up against each other today. 2-1 it is for now on 5 Live for the BBC as Elliot Anderson battles with Kamara in the midfield and Murillo gets involved too. Morgan Rogers will come away with possession from that scuffle. Tries a little chop turn and he's given the ball away. Murillo did so well to bite back there and make sure that Rogers wasn't able to escape. Here's Callum Hudson-Odoi, left-hand side for Nottingham Forest. Poor ball by Nico Williams, but Ramsey's not able to control it. And these 50-50 battles are much more competitive now. Jota Silva into the penalty area. Mings has got to be careful. Stood his ground. Toughest team, Tyrone Mings there as the ball rolls back to Emi Martinez once again.
Game on now. We've got a contest. It's good. The managers are up. They knowing that's in the balance. Intensity levels, desire, a few little tackles. If you're coming together, proper game now. This is going to be really interesting. Oh, what's he done?
Now Rogers has gone in around the back of Murillo and he's got a clean run into the penalty area. Morgan Rogers must be saved, remarkably saved by Matt Sells. He tried to put it through the legs of the keeper and Matt Sells just snapped his ankle shut and he's been able to deny Aston Villa what looked odds on to be a third goal. Rodgers hit a clean run all the way there. He even dropped a shoulder to beat the last defender for effect. Matt Sells has kept this a tight game with a quite wonderful save there.
Keep your eye on Murillo, right? He's got a limp now, just watch, right? Because he made a mistake and he's gone down, he gets beaten, doesn't he? Rodgers is away, wonderful footwork, chop left and right, goalkeeper just almost sneaks through his legs, great save. And then just watch him, keep an eye on the defender. He has to tell everyone he's had an injury, but he's getting back to it.
Let's see if he can get back to full speed here as Aston Villa come on the attack. The triple change made by Unai Emery, trying to give them more upward mobility. Tielemans helps it on to Jacob Ramsey just outside the penalty area. Tries to play it into the feet of Marcus Rashford, but he can't control. And Nottingham Forest regain possession. Nutmeg by Eleni Anderson will release Morgan Gibbs-White to come cruising up over the halfway line. He's got Callum Hudson-Odoi to his left, Jota Silva to his right. He rolls it to Hudson-Odoi. Disasi is the defender standing up ahead of him. Hudson-Odoi accelerating, trying to get into shooting position. Now Elliot Anderson back across the face of goal and wide. That's happened a lot today. Shots from the edge of the area off target from Nottingham Forest, but they are searching. They are like a heat-seeking missile looking for the equaliser for 2-2 now.
They've pulled 3 or 4, haven't they, wide? Just getting another look, and that footwork was really, really good. The nutmeg sort of got through his legs, and it's the back of Sells on his backside, just sort of catches the ball, turns around and grabs it, and then you see Hudson-Odoi, really, really good. Him and Gibbs-White, there's a battle on. Look at this now.
Yes. Nico Williams and Morgan Rodgers both hit the deck. Forest managed to win possession, and now Callum Hudson-Odoi is breaking into the penalty area. Gibbs-White shoots, and it's agonisingly wide for Forest again. Well, it's been non-stop Nottingham Forest pressure since the restart for the second half here. If listeners were with us in the first half, they will know that Villa were completely dominant in those opening 45 minutes. But what a sea change, what a complete reversal of roles here, as time and time again now Nottingham Forest get into shooting positions, and it feels only a matter of time before they start to get more of these on target.
Unai Emery, hand on his chin, just thinking, what next? What do I do? How do I stop it? Is there any little thing? He needs his staff, he needs people just to support him, give him something. It's important because Forest will come out and score unless they change, unless they get hold of it. Seeing there that opportunity, Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs-White, brilliant.
Villa 2, Forest 1. Rodgers and Mallon in the first half for Villa. Jota Silva, who has now scored 3 times off the bench in the Premier League since the turn of the year. He is the top flight's top scoring substitute of 2025 so far, as Ramsey is released down the left-hand side. This is better now from Aston Villa. 3 in the middle, plays it in short. Asensio shot on target, saved by Matt Sells. Angle was tight, comes back to Ramsey, tries to play it in again, left-footed towards Asensio again, but Milenkovic is there, and he clears it away for Nottingham Forest, and it goes out for a throw into Aston Villa, who remain on the attack down the left-hand side. Villa 2, Forest 1, a quarter of the match remaining here at Villa Park, and Maatsen has gathered the ball to take the throw in. Forest in their sky blue change kit, back defending now, but they've been able to counter-attack like their old selves in this second period, and they'll hope to draw Villa into a trap here. Foul on Camara, was it on the edge of the area? No, says the referee, as Rashford picks up the loose ball and blazes it well off target.
Yeah, big chance, but there's maybe a little bit of contact. Elliot Anderson on the edge of the area, Kamara, and as he catches him, as soon as the referee doesn't give it, away he runs, and there isn't. It's just inside the penalty area. He runs away quickly, tries to just diffuse the situation. Ramsey into Asensio, good effort, good save, as we were chatting about it, and they go direct here, Forest.
Yeah, check complete for the VAR, no penalty. It was just a slightly nervous moment for Forest. 2-1 they trail. Third in the Premier League, Nottingham Forest have been 2-0 down today, but back to 2-1. Dominguez gives it into Ryan Yates in the midfield. Still plenty sunshine in the evening air. Jota Silva, the goal scorer off the bench, gives it back to Yates again. Stretching though, Yates will give it away. Tielemans on the edge of his own penalty area, up into the midfield for Asensio, allowed the ball past his body. It was a good movement, but Yates was aware of the danger, and Nottingham Forest regained possession. Murillo coming forward down the middle of the pitch, rolls it short to Morgan Gibbs-White, knows that he's the creative fulcrum of this team. Villa have got everyone back behind the ball apart from Rashford. This is Nico Williams, 10 yards outside the penalty area, left-hand side as Forest come forward, playing from right to left as we look down in this second half. He gets it back, Nico Williams, from Hudson-Odoi. plays it short to Murillo, back out to the left wing to Callum Hudson-Odoi again. Has a little look up. Here comes the delivery into the penalty area. Bounces into the gloves of Emi Martinez once again. How Forest would love to have Chris Wood inside that penalty area when these balls are coming in.
Yeah, rightly so, because he had that understanding, hasn't he? That ability to understand when the ball's going to come, whether it be flighted, whether it be back post, and then as well, you have the confidence with someone with that sort of stature at the top that you can hit, you'll play that ball in. It's all Forest here now, fantastic. Gibbs-White is so infectious, brilliant as well now. We're just looking as they get away in the middle of the pitch. Ryan, yeah, it's exceptional.
Rodgers thought he was fouled there. Referee says play on. Hudson-Odoi, low ball into the penalty area. Tillemans missed it. That could have been really dangerous. And he's so lucky that it fell to Maatsen. Had that gone to a Forest player, it was 2-2. Mistake by Tillemans inside his penalty area, but he gets away with it. 19 minutes to play of normal time at Villa Park. Morato, always unlucky there, just too far in front of Morgan Gibbs-White, who had made a darting run into the penalty area, but it carries through ahead of him and out for a goal kick to Emi Martinez. Still 2-1 to Aston Villa, and Forest are now preparing to make some further changes of their own. Tomorrow we've got the Manchester derby from 4:30. You can listen to Fulham against Liverpool on 5 Live at 2 o'clock. There's a few games at 2 o'clock tomorrow. They're all available across 5 Live, Sports Extra and the BBC Sport website. You can listen to Brentford against Chelsea on Sports Extra and Spurs against Southampton. He's on the BBC Sport website tomorrow. All building up to the Manchester derby. Old Trafford 4:30 here on 5 Live. Rashford with a touch in the midfield to Yuri Tillemans. Comes forward in the left channel. Rolls the ball in front of Ramsey. Stepping into the penalty area now. Attacking the Holt end. Comes back to Tillemans. Shot on target. Saved by Sells. Got down low to his post on the right-hand side and pushed the ball away from danger. Villa looking for a third goal here to re-establish a 2-goal lead that they held for so long in the game. Jota Silva, he's on thin ice as he gets a yellow card there. Since he's come on, he's scored a goal. He's been involved in all sorts of tussles and fouls, and for that trip on Konza, Jota Silva gets a yellow card.
Do you know what he's done though? He's put himself about. He's just won a big header to keep it alive when he's got big centre-backs behind him. He's just doing everything he can. He's been a bit of a pest, isn't he? Running, pressing, harrying. And that's what they've done. They've just upped the tempo, and that's why they've got a little bit of a joy as both sides now look to make changes to try and see the game out from a Villa perspective. And rightly so, when you've got this man who can come on for them. He understands, he's organised, and he certainly will make a difference.
John McGinn comes on for Aston Villa. Back when these teams were in the second tier in 2019, he scored for Villa against Forest in the Championship. Both teams and McGinn himself have come a long way since then. So John McGinn comes on. He has replaced Marco Asensio, now wrapped up in cotton wool, to take on his parent club, Paris Saint-Germain, in the Champions League in midweek. Forest are preparing to make a double change, but not yet. Kamara for Villa, gives it short to Yuri Tillemans, back to the halfway line to Konza. Konza waits for Jota to come in. Jota's a little nibble on him, having just picked up a yellow card. Jota gives away a free kick. But you use the word, Michael, busy. He has been busy since coming on.
He really has, honestly. He's now on a line, isn't he, where he's got to be so careful, but he's made the difference. He has. Yeah, not just the goal, it's just actually going in behind, pressing, and intent. People can follow him from there on. But now Nuno decides to make different changes, and yeah, I think we understand this one if we look.
So Morata, who's not been the most assured performer on the pitch today, comes off for Willy Bolly to come on in his place, and Ramon Sosa is on as well. He has replaced Nico Dominguez, so the Paraguayan on in place of the Argentinian. Nuno Espirito Santo will be feeling a lot better about this game at the moment than he has done for most of the afternoon, but Forest do still trail 2-1 here. Can they complete the job of a comeback against an Aston Villa team who would love to get the comfort of a third goal here and establish a bit of a cushion? Morgan Gibbs-White loses out in the midfield up against Kamara. It's played by Tillemans to the right wing. What a ball that is. Rodgers controls in the penalty area, tries to tee up McGinn, goes down in the penalty area. Ryan Yates was the defender. Referee Simon Hooper was close to that and says no penalty. VAR will look in the background. My instinct live at the time, Michael, was not a penalty. No.
Not for me. You're just looking at John McGinn's reaction. He's not even gone direct towards the officials, and you see the change. Nico Williams gone out into that right wing back position now. So, but you know, you get why he was going to make that change. I think it makes sense. The tempo's got to stay up for Forest now. They've got to try and turn them round wherever they possibly can. Don't slow it.
Earlier on today, Crystal Palace beat Brighton in a match that featured 3 red cards. Wolves came from behind to beat Ipswich. Evanilson scored twice as Bournemouth drew at West Ham. And there was a penalty equaliser from Ndiaye for Everton to get a 1-1 draw against Arsenal today. Cross from the right-hand side from Nico Williams. He's gathered by Martinez with Jota Silva ready to tap in behind, and that squirted through.
I got a bit excited there, didn't I? I nearly jumped off my seat. I'm thinking, is that there? It was such a powerful cross from that right-hand side from Williams, but goalkeeper collected comfortably.
Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Quarter of an hour of normal time to play. Murillo with a good interception, and then he's strong in the tackle against Kamara. He keeps going, Murillo, helping it on to Ramon Sosa. First time he's been involved since coming on. Plays in a great ball. Morgan Gibbs' header is just wide. Forest have had so many chances in this second half. So many of them off target, but they are getting into dangerous positions time and time again, and that was not very far away at all from Morgan Gibbs-White.
Emi Martinez did that sidewinder, that hip height strike. I was looking at you thinking, that looks nice, it's brilliant. But what happens from there on? Morello steps forward, beats Rodgers, drives into position, and Sosa crosses it. Gibbs-White is the one in the middle, maybe a foul there, but just diverse the header wide.
Down goes John McGinn, fouled by Ryan Yates. Morgan Gibbs, who had that chance a moment ago, he scored against Villa in this game here last season, a game that Forest lost by 4-2. A very animated Unai Emery down there continues to bellow on the instructions. A much more sedate and serene Nuno Espirito Santo stands to his right-hand side, pondering what little tweak he could make here to get this game back on level terms. Certainly Forest have been worlds apart in terms of improvement from how they played in the first half. Anderson to the edge of the D again. Can he get the angle for the shot? He's unlucky. He dragged it under his studs there, trying to fool Tyrone Mings and create a little bit more space for a shot, but that adjustment of dragging the ball then put him off balance for the shot, which was well off target and too high in the end. But it's all Forest, Michael Brown.
It is, but he's had to have a drag back in the middle.
Yeah.
Then it's underneath, tried to strike, just sits up. It was well over, but covering some serious ground in the middle as the midfielder. Him, Gibbs-White are getting involved, but you just feel like the break could be on for Villa. That's the only danger for Forest. You know, the players that Villa have, they should be able to create chances.
John McGinn being very intelligent in what he's done since coming on. He's come on, he's won 3 free kicks already, and he's brilliant at this. He just traps the ball, he shields it, he says, come on, try and get me off the ball. As soon as you touch him, down he goes and he gets the free kick.
It's a known fact, you can't get round him, can you? He's got a bit of a
Careful now.
That's what he is. And he's a really good lad as well.
Jump in and save you there.
Really good lad as well. I mean that. Funny.
Here he is, John McGinn, laying off a pass to Maatsen. Lovely touch. Here is Rashford. He's not done much since coming on. Marcus Rashford has been back in the goals for Aston Villa lately. Today is his 500th appearance for club and country over the years. So many miles on the clock, so much experience, Marcus Rashford, at still a relatively young age of 27. As Aston Villa continued to lead 2-1 here at Villa Park in what's been a really interesting Premier League game, particularly the second half. And, you know, Villa fans will have enjoyed the first half, but it was one-sided. It's been a much better battle second period. Ramsey, maybe an opportunity here, but he couldn't bring it with him into the penalty area. Disasi beats Hudson-Odoi in a 50-50 challenge, and then Rodgers with a swing of the hips gets a bit of space, picks out Kamara, who puts it over the top. Villa with their best chance in several minutes. And Morgan Rodgers is having a storming game, and Kamara couldn't keep it down. Boubacar Kamara, who's never scored a Premier League goal.
They're all asking for free kicks. I think the referee, let's just let this game go, because this is going to be some ending to this. Everyone's asking for decisions. He goes, on you go, let's see what happens. And that's what I asked for earlier. And then Rodgers down the right side pulls it back. Kamara coming from nowhere, right foot, edge of the area, just got to use the pace of the ball, goes over. He'd be disappointed with that.
I think he's done well today, the referee Simon Hooper. He's let a lot go, but he realises it's the combative nature of this game as Nico Williams bears down on the Villa penalty area again, tries to cross. Yuri Tielemans with an important block. Williams has got to scamper out to the sideline to recapture possession. He rolls it back into his own half to Nikola Milenkovic. Forest playing from right to left as we look down. I've got just over 10 minutes of normal time to go here. 6:06 is coming on 5 Live with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton immediately after this game as Matt Sells pumps it long down the right wing for Forest. Controlled well, taken out of the air by Morgan Gibbs-White. Back down on the deck for Nico Williams, and he'll roll it to Bolly inside the Nottingham Forest half. Villa working hard off the ball here to limit opportunities for Nottingham Forest. Forest, who've had a whole host of chances in this second half, have been able to score one goal to make it an exciting game, but could they get another goal to bring a point back to the City crowd from this visit to Villa Park? This is Milenkovic at the back for Nottingham Forest. Rolls it short to Ryan Yates into the midfield to Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now the crossfield spread out towards Nico Williams. Controls on his knee, on his instep on the far side. Good ball into Gibbs-White. Great ball back to Nico Williams in the penalty area, across the face of goal and wide again. Well, that's happened multiple times today. Forest into the penalty area, low shot across the goal. And on another day, 3 or 4 of them could have gone in. Today, they've all gone wide. The link-up play between Gibbs-White and Nico Williams was fantastic there.
Look how close that is. He looks, he eyes it, far post, hits it low into the ground. Martinez's right hand just coming across, he just skims past that post. But him and Gibbs-White, that little combination, give, go, wait, then inside, and he doesn't stop, he just goes. Gibbs-White, little turn, then he still sees the pass after that. Very, very unlucky that Forest haven't got the second.
Villa under immense pressure in the second half. It's probably going to work out as a good little trial run for them ahead of their Champions League quarter-final, because I'm sure there'll be stages they'll be hanging on against Paris Saint-Germain. But they're getting to experience what that feels like in real time here as Mings gives it up to McGinn, and then Tielemans threads a perfect, accurate ball to up ahead to Ramsey, but Ramsey wasn't able to control it. That was a really good opportunity. He couldn't take the ball with him. Villa do hold on to possession. Marcus Rashford just outside the edge of the penalty area, left hand side as Villa come forward. Rashford plays a 1-2, gets it back again, then rolls it to Konza in the centre circle. Villa, who haven't been as incisive in this second period as they were in the first half when they were creating chances for fun. This is Ramsey to Rashford in the gloves, and back to the halfway line again to Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, Villa just moving it around, waiting now. They've got to find a solution ideally, because this Forest side are not going to let go. You know, they've got really good numbers, high sprint distance, good switch of the play.
Reminder that you can watch listen to the Japanese Grand Prix on 5 Live from 5:30 in the morning. Rodgers tries to steal into the penalty area for Aston Villa, and he's going to get a corner here. Corner to Villa at the Holt end. Live coverage, by the way, of the Masters begins on Thursday evening from 8 o'clock on Sports Extra, as John McGinn takes his time walking out to place the ball for this corner kick. Villa 2-1 up, and I'm sure he'll have glanced at the big stadium clock there, John McGinn, to see there are 7 minutes of normal time to go. Goals in the first half from Morgan Rodgers and Daniel Mallon. Established a 2-goal half-time lead for Villa. Forest have made it 2-1 in the second half through Jota Silva. Forest have been the better team but in the second period, but they're behind. Let's see what McGinn can do here. Corner played in towards the back post. Murillo commanding header out, sits up for Maatsen, hits it back in, but off target. Goal kick to Forest.
Do you know what tells you the switch and the difference? We couldn't stop mentioning Maatsen, could we, for the whole of the first half, and I think in the start of this second half is that pretty much the first time we mentioned him. 83 minutes on the clock. Exceptional one half. He's not even been allowed to play, to join in, to get anywhere, because he knows he can't even leave the situation, because they've got to keep that back line in and just wait for the counter.
Villa have only lost here at home in the Premier League once since August. They're unbeaten in the last 16 home games. 2-1 they lead in these closing stages on 5 Live. But this is good work from Sousa. Left-hand side for Forest. Tries to play it to the edge of the area to Hudson-Odoi, and Kamara worked really hard to get back and make the interception. But Forest do hold on to possession. Murillo has it. Short to the feet of Callum Hudson-Odoi. Crossing position the left-hand side. Plays it in. One in the air by Tyrone Mings. Good central defensive play to head it out of the penalty area to pick up Ramsey. Ramsey now surrounded by opponents. Ends up off the field of play. Ball is still in play. Ramsey wanted a free kick there, but the referee says play on.
And that's what we want. Keep it playing. Keep this game moving. It's been a really, really interesting second half. Villa have had to defend, find a different way of staying in games.
Murillo forward to Jota Silva! Villa heads it. Was it saved, Martinez? He was offside anyway. It wouldn't have counted, but Emi Martinez has made a quite brilliant save to deny Jota Silva what could have been a second goal of the game.
Well, we're thinking here it is. That run was good, just off the shoulder of Tyrone Mings. He waits, he stays, and it's brave as a defender to do that. He can see him, he can see the ball, good body position, so he gets the look right across, arm goes up, and at that point he knows, he convinces the officials, he waits, and then that header goes in. Good, strong right-hand save anyway, wide, and obviously the disappointment was there. A yellow card now for time wasting for the goalkeeper.
And that sums up the mood here. Villa hanging on to this 2-1 lead. A few spectators beginning to make their way towards the exits, but no one wants to leave Villa Park just yet. There could be a sting in the tail coming. Rashford into the penalty area. Good challenge by Milenkovic, timed that well, and puts it on a play for a throw into Aston Villa on the far side. There are 4 minutes 20 seconds remaining of normal time. 5 Live and BBC Sounds, the Premier League tea time kick-off on a Saturday here at Villa Park. Maatsen prepares to take the throw-in. 10 yards from the corner flag that Villa attack down the left-hand side. Villa in the claret and blue against Forest in sky blue. And Maatsen takes his time over this throw-in as Villa are doing it all the restarts at the moment. Picks out John McGinn. McGinn just outside the penalty area. Crossing position on the left-hand side, but surrounded by opponents. Manages to shovel it in towards Morgan Rogers, and they get a corner to Aston Villa. Corner with the clock now ticking on and time running out for Nottingham Forest, trailing 2-1.
Yeah, and they won't be in a rush, will they? The opinion that they shouldn't even maybe put it in. I think they'll hold it in the corner, going wait. I know it's a little bit negative, but Forest are just waiting to jump out. We know that that's their strength, the amount of goals they've scored on the counter. Yes, they've got Noah Langer, but it's going to come in.
This is a position, they're defending a corner, but this is what Forest want, because they know they can break so well if they win this delivery. Here it comes from Rashford, in swinger, comes off the back of Tyrone Mings' head, actually lands right back out at the instep of Marcus Rashford, who now tries to dribble into the penalty area. Couple of step overs, blocked by Nico Williams. Villa hold on to possession. Ramsey into the box, turning is Rodgers, tries to shoot, good block Willy Bolly to put it out for another corner kick. Aston Villa 2-1 in front, and they're running the clock down well here with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, Rashford all involved with it in the situation where the ball comes in, but then Rodgers so good with his feet, turns, tries to pivot, strike. Great defending, the blocks all come in. Willy Bolly on this occasion getting really close to this situation. I don't know at this stage now. It's maybe still too far to go. That's why they still put it in.
6:06 coming with Chris and Robbie. 08085 909 693. The number if you want to get involved live on the airwaves on BBC Radio 5 Live this evening as Rashford sends another in-swinger. Mings at the front post, and it goes out for another corner yet again. 3 in succession. Last touch of Ryan Yates there. The clock ticks on, and it's now 2 minutes of normal time remaining. Forest are just hoping they can win this corner kick defensively. They can spring a counter-attack, and there might still be a chance of making this 2-2. Villa hoping that they can hold on for 3 points against one of their rivals for a Champions League place for next season. Marcus Rashford to take the corner again. The 2 he sent in so far have been front post in-swingers. He races his left hand as a signal to the teammates. Here it comes, into that area again. Oh, it's Sells diving down the front post, and McGinn back across the face of goal. No one could get a touch on it, and it dribbles and rolls and all the way through and out for a throw-in to Nottingham Forest, who are gearing up for a big finish here. 90 seconds of normal time to play. Stoppages to come, but we haven't had any big delays in the second half. There won't be a huge amount of time to be added on.
Well, you never know, but what a delivery, front post from Rashford. The goalkeeper does well, he's under pressure, he's got to palm it out quickly because he just swings back in, and then McGinn, that chance, he's composed, he waits, just puts it right across, nobody to touch it in. This is Forest's turn now. They know they're going to get a chance before the end of this game as build-up starts now.
The final minutes of the 90. Nottingham Forest, who've come back from 1-0 down, from 2-0 down to sit at 2-1 as a deficit. They've never in the Premier League come back from 2 goals behind to salvage anything in the past, but could this be the moment? Villa grateful for those goals in the first half from Rodgers and from Mallon. This is Williams and Morgan Gibbs-White, and back to Willy Bolly. And Villa just looking for concentration now. Don't allow any gaps. Don't allow Forest in. Ryan Yates through the centre to the feet of Hudson-Odoi. Immediately McGinn was snapping away at him, so it's back to Yates again. Murillo, who's come forward into the midfield, plays a good ball into the penalty area. Gibbs-White tries to flick it on, and it's saved by Martinez. That was great industry from Gibbs-White to get there, to flick it on target, but the keeper had his angles just right.
Yeah, it's a great ball, right in behind, and he sort of like, it bounces and he has to sort of leave the floor and just tries to touch at any point past the goalkeeper, just misses it. It's a really, really interesting ball from Murillo, but now there it is, Conor. There is a bit of time.
4 minutes. Well, I was at Chelsea on Thursday where there was 12 to be added on, so 4 seems a piffling in comparison. This is Murillo running up, trying to charge his way and barge his way through the Aston Villa midfield. He gives it out to Nico Williams on the right-hand side, and Forest aren't giving up. Back to Murillo again. 10 yards outside the box. Shoots a rocket that comes off the crossbar. Murillo nearly scorches an equaliser. The crossbar continues to wobble at Villa Park. You simply cannot get any closer to an equaliser than that. That would have been goal of the month.
Goal of the month and some. It sits up, left-footed, he strikes across it. I'm thinking, don't do it. You've got them right where you want them. And you can see it's travelling. Martinez desperately just covering to that top right-hand corner. And it just hits off that crossbar. Thunderous strike. It was worthy of a goal.
I'm saying about, you're thinking, don't do it. Shades of that famous Vincent Kompany goal when Raheem Sterling said, no, Vinny, no. And Kompany hit an immortal goal that has entered Manchester City folklore. Here at Villa Park, Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 1. The very closing stages now on 5 Live. Just less than 3 minutes to go. Rashford up against Milenkovic, has got the pace. Rashford can seal it. Sells with the block. Rashford looking for another nibble, and Sells got there a second time to claw it away. Well, that was speed from Marcus Rashford. He outpaced Milenkovic, but Matt Sells, who, well, he may have conceded 2 goals today, but he's had some brilliant moments, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper.
Outpaced Milenkovic is an understatement. He had a 10-yard start, still got there. Not many can catch Marcus Rashford when he's going. He tries to be clever. The goalkeeper Sells stays big, flicks it over him, hits his hip. And I'm thinking, there you go, just nod it in. But another recovery. What a second half. It's brilliant.
2 minutes of stoppages to go. From a neutral point of view, you don't want this to end. Villa fans really want it to end, though. They want to hear that final whistle. They want to prepare for the Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain, knowing that they'll have won the Premier League game. Here, Anderson flicks on towards Hudson-Odoi, and he'll do really well to keep that in play. Wow, what a touch from Anderson. Brilliant to do it. I did not think he was going to keep that in. This is Hudson-Odoi. Back to Milenkovic. Still they press Forest. Still they search the equaliser. Nico Williams into the penalty area, blocked by Maatsen, out for a corner. Surely they all come up for this now in the final 30 seconds, final 60 seconds of stoppage time. It's a corner kick to Nottingham Forest on the right-hand side. They trail 2-1.
What about Elliot Anderson there near the byline? Unai Emery saying, come on, get behind us. He realises this is a big moment.
If they score from this, it goes back to the fact that Anderson kept it in. He had no right to do so. Here's the corner, in by Williams. Mings heads it down. Gibbs-White shoots. Blocked by Morgan Rogers. I don't think it was going in anyway. Emi Martinez is shouting there was a player offside. The referee isn't interested. Play continues, but it's down to seconds to go now. Forest can't get it forward quick enough. 5 Live from the BBC. Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 1. It's been a brilliant second half, this. Can Forest get the equaliser? Williams, little flick on to Morgan Gibbs-White. Maatsen, the defender near him, down by the corner flag, and he plays it off Maatsen, and he wants a corner, but it's going to be a goal kick. That could be that. Goal kick to Aston Villa. And the Villa fans, who've been afraid to celebrate here in case there was a late twist in the tail, they are now ready for the release, because the 4 minutes are almost up, and it's still 2-1 to their team. But Forest have given this everything in the second half, trying to equalise.
Yeah, they have, because it was really poor from the standards that they've set themselves, and Villa were excellent in the first half, and I do think the conditions have affected that. Gibbs-White on the line. He's also just had another strike block. He tried to be clever. He thought he got a corner. He didn't. Will we have 30 seconds? Will we have one chance?
There it is, the final whistle. What a roll Aston Villa are on at the moment. This is now 7 wins in a row in all competitions for Unai Emery's team. They will fear no one, and do not underestimate the challenge put up by Nottingham Forest. It's no fluke they're third in the Premier League this season. They gave it everything in the second half, but Villa have held on for the lead, and Unai Emery can now turn his attentions to his former employers, Paris Saint-Germain. It's a hectic end to the season with an FA Cup semi to come as well, the Champions League quarter-final. But don't discount the value of this Premier League victory, because Aston Villa have just beaten one of the best teams in the land. Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Michael Brown.
Yeah, we were treated. We were just looking at the shots. 36 shots, Connor. We've seen it, didn't we? It was a game of two halves. Aston Villa in that first half, and the conditions must have been much worse out there than we give it credit for. But Villa were exceptional. Some wonderful football, some cute passes, some good runs in behind. The Morgan Rogers goal were in touch. Was really good. That set it to light. Matson was excellent in the first half. Forest just couldn't find an answer or a solution. It looked like it was going to be all Villa. Nuno does what he does, makes a couple of changes and then changed everything. The intensity. Jota Silva at the top of the pitch. He was a pest. He ran around. He was inconvenient to that Villa back line, and then he created, and there was a deflected goal. And then Gibbs White, Anderson, Nico Williams, Hudson-Odoi, all exceptional in the second half, and Forest were just all over them. The chance, that big effort from Murillo as he crushed it onto the bar would have been a worthy equaliser, but it was a wonderful second half. Really enjoyed it. Forest did deserve something for it, but it was too little, too late because of the start they had.
Well, Nottingham Forest can't get Chris Wood back quick enough. By no means are they a one-man team, but he is a very important player for them. Everton in the Premier League next Saturday. He could be back for that. They've Tottenham to come. They've a game against Brentford. There's an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley on the horizon for Nottingham Forest. But disappointment for them today. Forest, who've been on a great run of their own. This is a first defeat in 6 games for Nuno Espirito Santo in all competitions. They will believe that they can come again. But the story today, the story is Villa. This clever, shrewd January recruitment that continues to pay dividends. And while Asensio and Rashford have had a lot of the headlines and a lot of the news cycles surrounding that recruitment, Daniel Malin's now scored in 2 games in a row, and he's proving his worth too. And Paris Saint-Germain will be worried, because they know that they've a very stern opponent for the Premier League to take on in the Champions League in midweek. 606 is on its way with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. But for myself, Conor McNamara and Michael Brown, this is it for Villa Park. We have 606 to come after the news on 5 Live with Lisa McCormack.
The voice of the UK.